Welcome back to Bow for Initiative, the tabletop role-playing stream where the audience influences the story. I, of course, am Ben and/or Benjamin, as I'm known on the internet. And with me, I have Sev, otherwise known as Envy Banshee, who'll be serving today as your dungeon master. Go ahead and say hi to everyone, Sev.
Hello, friends. Today's a big day, my good friends. Today is a day that I've been waiting for quite a long time. And I am quite excited to play today.
Yeah, so you've got the clown makeup on. I'm curious if there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Definitely no correlation to the plot at all. Definitely just wanted to put on some clown makeup today. Definitely.
I actually think we're probably not gonna find the Revelia boys. I think this is a tip-off that we're not gonna find it, and so I think Seth just felt really bad for us and wanted to give us some kind of clown content. So, that's probably why they put on the makeup.
Definitely. Yeah. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? I did my nails last night. Again, peep them. Very good. Love them. Also peep the rings. We love. If you're noticing, maybe I look a little bit more high resolution. I did get a new webcam. So if I look a slightly bit different than before, that is why.
And the same webcam as me now.
Yeah, we're sort of upgrading our
we're
quality
twinning.
a little bit. My lighting is still much worse than yours, and it's pretty noticeable, so working on upgrading that next. But at least now you can see the more intricate eye makeup that I do, because previously it all just kind of got lost and was blurry. So we love that. Anyways,
I think you look a lot better, so that's a massive step up.
Correct. Yes. It's been a long time coming, and yeah, it's good. Anyways, I really want to fucking play today, so maybe let's play this silly, fun little game.
Okay.
And forget about the horrors for a little bit and experience some brand new ones instead. Does that sound fun to you guys? I think that sounds great and awesome.
That sounds okay.
Fantastic.
We'll see.
Okay. But first, for our friends out there who maybe missed last episode or just need a little bit of a recap, a refresher on what happened last episode. You fought some members of the Blood Hunter Order of the Lycan in defense of your new friend Laurent and his charge, a young vampire girl named Guinevere, the two of whom were trying to remain hidden and sort of live out their lives in peace. Whereas the Lycans did not want that. So, fought them, killed them, slay. Elstane definitely
Slay,
was really
literally.
normal. Elstane was really normal when they died. Definitely no sort of horrors or regrets or sort of anything like that. He was really normal about it. Then, after the battle, Laurent gave you a fun little necklace, and afterwards was sort of not sure where he was heading. So you gave Laurent Niobe's information if he needed a ride somewhere, and Neve also...
I want to point something out that I forgot last time, by the way, because after I realized I forgot it, it infuriated me to no end. Because as you all know, it was taking me a really long time to kill that fucking one dude. I should have been doing 5 additional damage every time I attacked him. I totally forgot I had used the sharpening oil on my sword. Yeah. I should have been giving myself a +5. I wasn't.
You gotta remember your stats. Unfortunately, terrible. That neither of us remember it.
Well, no, you don't need to remember. I'm kicking myself for not remembering because, oh my god. I literally used it one time and then for the rest of the fight forgot about it.
Yeah, that's really rough, unfortunately.
Anyway, continue.
After you gave Laurent Niobe's information, Neve also generously offered her home, a place called Wildgrave to the east, if he wished to remain in the Verloren Wood, the magical woods, to sort of preserve them from any prying eyes. And he did not tell you where he was going, as you guys sort of just left. And that's fine. You had other business to attend to, so you parted ways, returned to town. You guys had a sort of catch-up debriefing session at the tavern, sort of catching Neve up on some things, sort of revealing some more secrets. Your prophecy that was given to you finally revealed. Although Neve had some interesting things to say about that. So we're sort of maybe not sure where we stand at this moment about that topic. And then as you went to sleep that night, you had a fun memory.
Aelstein wrote some letters.
That's true. You did write some letters. You wrote some letters to Cyrus and to Niobe. And you had a call with Dandelion. That definitely didn't affect any of us emotionally. It definitely had no impact on anyone.
Yeah, everyone was chill about it.
And then you had a fun little dream where you remembered just a little bit of the most important thing that's ever happened to you. And afterwards, a warning or a message, it's not really clear, from your patron. And thus you have awoken back in your tavern. However, as always, before we return to this moment of awakening, we return instead. How long ago was this conversation?
I would say slightly before they underwent their mutations.
So, a few months
maybe
ago.
Maybe like a couple weeks before the mutations.
Probably like 2 months ago. We see...
Well, two months ago seems really short. Maybe
3,
5,
4.
6 months ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. A couple of months ago. Oh, that's loud. Come on. Thank you.
Very loud.
Yep. Anyway, we pan down on a scene once again in Dragonhold, and just for funsies, as always. I like to use my scenes, you guys. Also, you'll notice I changed the size of the screen, so now it shows a lot more of the map. And you might be thinking, Seth, why didn't you do that earlier? And my answer is this. Shut up. Anyway.
It's a pretty good answer.
A few months ago, or however long ago this is deemed.
Let's say firmly 5 months ago.
Okay. We pan down on the courtyard of Dragonhold. We see Aelstein sitting on a low wall, staring out at funeral pyres lit for the most recent initiates to succumb to the initiations. His hands shake and he fidgets, watching this scene. We see Amber walk into frame and take a seat next to him. You see, she too looks out over the pyres, sort of distant look in her eyes. She says, I sometimes think they keep these pyres readily visible from most of the keep so that we can't look away. Did you know them?
Not well. I'm sure Castro's already forgot their names.
They knew the risks.
That don't make it okay.
I never said it does. She kind of nudges you a little bit. You gonna ghost?
Considering it.
You know we can't.
I don't know, they'd never catch us. If there's one thing you and I is good at, it's disappearing.
You see she looks out over the courtyard to the valley in the distance beyond the mountains. And where would we go? Exactly.
What do you mean? Back home. Back to Rayan. Hell, we could take what we learned so far and become damn decent mercs.
Or we could stick it out, become real blood hunters, and take on big contracts.
Nah, we don't need that much money.
Well, we do if we want to get our friends out of Ashworth.
He turns to her and then turns back to the pyre and sighs and says, I know.
You muted yourself.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I didn't hear the last words you said.
He sighed and said, I know.
Oh.
Whoops.
She says, look, I know you know, but everything we're doing is for them.
Ain't gonna matter if we both end up dead.
We won't. You see, she sort of takes you in, sees the shaking of your hands. She says, here. She pulls a cigarette out and puts one in her mouth and hands one to you. She says, Althea in mutant order gave them to me. Nasty habit, I guess, but helps me ditch the shakes.
He takes it, but as she's about to light hers, he snap lights hers. And he says, well, if the blood hunting business don't work out, at least I got a promising career as a pilot light. Thanks. And he lights his too.
You see that she kind of laughs and rolls her eyes. She says, look, we just need to survive the mutations. Once that's done, we make tracks and start taking contracts. We've got this. It's gonna be okay.
He takes his first puff and he says, yeah, you're right. We're doing it for them.
We fade from this place and time. Those words linger heavy in the air. Words meant in earnest that hold more weight than either of them could possibly know at the time. For them. We fade back into a dark tavern room as the sun rises in the morning behind fog-filled skies. You are level 3 now. Do you want to tell
I
everyone?
am.
You want to tell everyone your little goodies that you got?
So I retract what I said at the end of the session last time. I thought for sure that I had chosen the path of the undying. But it's very easy to get undying and undead mixed up. I think undying is technically like a little better, like stats wise, but I think I chose undead because it has interesting story implications. So this is a classic, not necessarily building the character for the best stats, but it's a little bit more compelling, like narratively. I won't explain why just yet, but suffice to say, undead and undying when it comes to warlock packs and by extension blood hunter packs, they're very similar.
Very
and they are
similar.
you can you can kind of swap them out with each other, and they have all the same patrons.
Yeah.
So
It's just kind of what you get from those patrons is a little bit different.
and you get a very specific plot device from the undead that we will likely happen upon at some point.
We'll touch on later.
But yeah, you also gave me the stat blocks for Aelstain's sword and also the amulet that he was given.
Yes. And I will say, before you reveal the stats of your sword, as you wake up, having had the dream of your pact and the message from your patron, you look...
Well, do we want to continue the story before we talk about the stats, though?
Well, I was just going to say something really briefly, if you'll let me.
Oh, okay. It just sounds like you're about to continue the story.
Where...
Okay, go ahead.
Where does your sword lie when you wake up?
Oh, I think it's maybe propped up against like the wood paneling right next to the door.
As you awake,
Like sheathed.
you feel that pull you felt when you first chose the sword all that time ago, and you see across the room, even sheathed, it glows, and it calls to you to wield. Do you retrieve it?
I think he's just laying in bed, staring at the ceiling in spite of this.
Valid.
I don't think he's gotten up yet.
Even though you do not possess the sword, and something that Aelstein does not see in this moment, then, the purple runes along the blade itself alight in purple glow. The runes shift and twitch and transform into comprehensible language. And a name comes to you, unbidden. Black Lament. Now, if you'd like to reveal what your sword does.
I'm actually confused now. He has runes on it?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like, I thought it had the like vein etchings on it.
Yeah, so runes appear briefly, like glowing runes, and then they fade.
Oh, okay.
Well, but you didn't see that
sex.
because you weren't holding it, but the audience saw it.
So yeah, I guess so it's a +1 sword, which is fun. That's +1 to attack rolls and +1 to damage, for those who don't know. And it also has an ability called Know Your Prey, which is very interesting to me because the way it's worded is, I think it has some implications that I don't know if you intended or not. But basically he can focus on it, like he can use the know your prey ability to gain advantage on survival and intelligence checks for details about certain creatures. So he already gets those on Fae, Fiend, and Undead by virtue of being a blood hunter. But since the wording is specifically creature, and I'm sure someone in chat might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that when D&D says like creature, it means like any living creature, so including humanoids? Question mark.
Correct.
So you could technically use this to gain the ability to track all humans, all humanoids.
Correct.
Oh my god, Ailstein could become the greatest serial killer of all time.
It essentially allows you to pick a type of creature, like humanoid, monstrosity, aberration, things of that nature. You can only do one at a time, and it allows you advantage to track them and recall information about them. So
also, if it's done frequently enough, which is determined by you, it just becomes permanent. So like he just gets that forever. I'm also curious about that. When you say it becomes permanent, does that mean that he can then use know your prey on something else too, and that also just stays?
So for the purpose of the becoming permanent is, as a blood hunter, Fae, Fiend, and Undead are the 3 types of creatures that you are most trained to fight. That's why you get advantage on knowing about them and knowing how to track them and recalling information. This sword allows you to be sort of a more rounded hunter of many different types of creatures at once, even ones that you don't necessarily know about. And if you attune to the same creature type several times, like a lot of times, determined by me, then you won't have to use know your prey to, it'll just become it'll be like Fae, Fiend, Undead, and whatever else that you have learned. You won't need to use the sword to do that anymore, because you've essentially learned enough about them to track them and be knowledgeable about them. So it's just intended to make you a little bit more like,
I guess what I'm asking is, does that stack? So like,
it does not
say
stack. You can't, it's one at a time.
No, I know, but I'm saying like once you have permanently, so say I did it to aberrations a lot, right? And aberrations become a permanent part of my lexicon.
Correct.
Does that just mean I can't use know your prey anymore?
No, you can keep doing it.
Because it's just permanently aberration now?
No, you can keep doing it. It just means that you don't need
so it does
to
stack.
use. It does stack, but you can't use that feature for more than one creature type at a time.
Yeah. I know. I get that part. So it says like the once per long rest and you select a different creature type, but interesting. So he could theoretically, if he keeps his sword long enough, become a master of all monster types simultaneously.
Yeah, that's kind of the, I'm not saying you'd ever get there, but that's kind of the ultimate goal as a hunter of monsters, is to become knowledgeable about as many of them as possible. And I just thought it was an interesting idea to be able to allow you to have that ability.
Hell yeah. Also, the part that made flabbergasted me a little bit was the last part, which is, as an action, you can focus on the sword. Doing so will give you insight to the number of creatures of the attuned type within 1 mile and in the general direction they are in. I can use this to track humans.
Humanoid. So you can't pick a specific person and be like, find this person. Well, it's all humanoids within that range. So if you're in a city, it's just going to be like, Yep, there's a lot of people around. Like,
Plot device. I attune it to humans and check every few seconds to see if anyone's being killed in a
Okay,
in a
great.
1 mile radius.
Oh, definitely.
Oh
Yeah.
no! The number of humans dropped by 1. Someone just died.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's your fun new sword. And just a little tidbit for our audience. The sword is something that will be leveling with him, as it is a prominent feature of the class.
Yeah, as a profane soul blood hunter, your weapon becomes your spell focus.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I put the little veins on it.
And along with your sword, you also learned about the necklace that Laurent gave to you.
Mm-hmm.
Want to tell us what that does?
It's got 2 abilities. It has 3 charges total that I think it gets 1 charge back after a long rest each time.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, it's got 2 spells it can cast. You can use charges to gain 5 temporary hit points or reduce incoming damage by 1d4 plus 1. So I guess ideally you use the false life option before a fight, and it's objectively better. But if you haven't used it, if I've been saving it for whatever reason, I can use the secondary ability to reduce damage incoming, which could be anything from 2 to 5 as opposed to a flat 5.
So I know so D&D Beyond wouldn't let me create it where it just was a flat number. So it says 1d4 plus 1. It's 5. It's always 5. It's 5, 10, and 15 points total.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't think people give a shit about the stats.
I know. I'm just
sure
saying. I just think
I'm
hey,
sure that
maybe some people want to know. You got some fun stuff?
No, I know. I'll explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I worry about telling them like 5 versus 1d4 versus, you know what I mean?
I'm just trying to be specific. Anyway.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to be like, don't tell them. I'm just saying like I'm not. That's why I'm just kind of glossing over it a little.
Anyways.
Anyway, I took Eldritch Blast, Minor Illusion, Charm Person, and Protection from Good and Evil as my initial spells.
Yes. Kaz, Ambrose, and Neve have also all leveled up. I'm not gonna go into everything that they got. They got some fun new stuff to play around with that we will possibly see in combat. So yes, that's our recap of level 3 over.
Ambrose specifically has one that I think you picked up. Find Familiar.
Oh, he already had that.
He did. He hasn't used it.
Yeah, well, Ambrose has Thea. He has Thea, his Tressum that he can summon. He just has been keeping her kind of away. But perhaps he will summon her, and she'll be around more.
Perhaps. Anyway.
So, you awaken from your dreams. You notice your sword, but do not go to it, and you lay in this bed. How long do you stay there for? What do you think of?
I think he's just like slowly woken up. Harry's still on his chest and he's like petting his little head. And he's staring at the ceiling and running those words through his head. We do it for them. We do it for them. I want to clarify something. The goddamn lich spoke to him. Was that like in his dream, or did he hear it like in his head as he woke up?
You heard it after the memory as you were waking up.
What, so you can you talk to me now?
There is no response.
Interesting. Okay. And I think he slowly sits up.
If you remain in your room for more than an hour, you hear a knock at your door.
No, I think he's like up really early.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't think the sun has come up yet.
Okay. There is just the faintest bit of light coming through the window. Even if the sun was up, it is so foggy outside that the sun almost never touches this place. Aramore is a town of rain and gloom and heavy tree coverage, so it's quite dark here. You rise.
Yeah, he sits up in bed.
Do you have something to say?
I keep waiting to hear what you're gonna say. I think he looks over at his sword and like actually acknowledges the fact that it's like pulling at him. And he says, "I don't like that you can do that."
There's no
Cut
response. But you hear the name in your head. Black Lament. And the sword's glow slowly fades over time and returns to its normal state.
He picks it up and hitches it to his back, and he splashes a little bit of water on his face. And I think he's got like some like stubble. I don't know that he's shaven the past few days. I think he like puts his hair up. He puts his hair up in like a loose ponytail, but he's got like the strands hanging down. You know what I mean, in the front.
A little disheveled.
Yeah, he's a little disheveled.
Fitting.
And he looks at himself in the mirror and he says, "We do it for them." And he kind of, all right. And he steps out, even though it's really early. I think he goes down to the front of the tavern. Is there like a person like manning the bar or whatever at the tavern?
It's that same guy. You're not really sure when he sleeps, but he's there.
He's just always there. He says, "Hey pal, you wouldn't happen to have any cheese behind the counter, would you?"
You see that he kind of squints at you, and he pulls out like two different kinds of cheese. There's like a big block of like cheddar, and then there's this kind of like a little bit fancier, like a spreadable cheese, kind of like a brie.
How much is that one?
He points to the brie, and he holds up 3 fingers.
Jesus Christ, that's expensive. He says,
cheese.
"And that one?"
He holds up 1 finger.
Says, "I don't think he's gonna taste the difference. I'll take the cheddar."
You see, he kind of like is like, yeah, and he cuts you off a hunk of the cheddar and gives it to you.
I give him the gold coin.
He nods, takes it.
Uh,
He puts an umbrella in it.
in the cheese?
In the cheese.
If he puts an umbrella in the cheese, I'm losing my mind. Damn, you did that just for gore. I think Ailstein steps outside, and I think he like leans up against the wall and like maybe puts the cheese like on like a windowsill next to the wall to let Harry jump up and have some.
Oh. He jumps up and he opens, his jaw unhinges and he just scoops the cheese into his mouth like a shovel, and swallows it whole.
I think it's funnier if he sits there and just is like has all the cheese in his mouth and he's trying to chew but he can't and he's just like
Yeah. When he opens his mouth, like when he goes like cheese falls out. And he like tries to put it back in.
And while Harry's doing that, I think Aelstein kind of looks over his sword and like he unsheaths it and is kind of just like looking it over and like kind of cleans it and sharpens it while he waits for everyone else to get up.
Okay. You take the time to care for your sword. You wipe some of the rusted blood from the lichens that remains on it. And some, dust and dirt and other sort of detritus.
Hopefully not rusted. Hopefully just dried blood.
Yeah, dried. Like the color of rust, I meant. Like old
damn, this
blood.
sword is not lasting. It's already rusting.
Did you say you were outside the tavern doing this?
Yeah, he's like leaning up against like right next to the front of the tavern. Just waiting for someone to step out.
About 30 minutes of you and Harry kind of hanging out here. Down the alleyway, you actually hear a familiar clinking of jewelry. And you see Neve emerges from the darkness and the fog, from somewhere unknown to you. She looks sort of resplendent as always. Her skin sort of has that like inner shine to it. The silver of her eyes has that sort of like glow. And the movement of her, she's very fluid in her steps. The jewelry like sort of clinking around as she walks. Her sort of skirts like flowing, hovering over the ground but not touching. And you see she walks up to you and she sort of is like, "Oh, good morning. You're up early."
Says, "Morning. I can say the same about you."
You see that she sort of smiles a bit, and she says, "We always rise before the sun to tend the shrines of the Moon Maiden." But
Says, "Sounds exhausting."
you see she kind of is like, "You get used to it." She says, "Did you sleep well?"
Yeah, peachy.
Give me a deception check.
This is the most important deception check ever. I'm rolling with the big die. 17.
You see she kind of tilts her head, but doesn't question it. She nods. And you see she says, "Are the others awake?"
Says, I can't imagine so. Ambrose, well, he needs his beauty sleep.
You see that she smiles and nods. And she says, "Oh, yes, I would imagine that he does. Have you eaten yet?"
He points at his own face and he says, "See, I got no such needs."
You see she kind of rolls her eyes. And she says, "If you're fishing for compliments, you'll get none from me."
He smirks and he says, "No, it'll be a while before they get up."
She nods and she says, "Well, if you haven't had a chance to eat, I was just about to go have breakfast if you'd like to join me."
Says, "Sure." And resheaths his sword.
She leads the way inside. She orders some, just kind of a basic, like, there's like sort of a light brothy stew for breakfast, with sort of like chicken, potatoes, things like that, and some bread. She pays for yours, and refuses to accept any payment for it. And she takes a seat down at the bar.
Sleight of hand sneaks payment for his meal into her bag with
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Ooh, pretty good. 16.
She does not notice as you put the
How
coin.
how much do I put in?
It's just like a gold.
Okay.
Just for breakfast. She is none the wiser.
Don't try to don't try to outsmart a thief.
The two of you eat. She doesn't say much. It's just kind of like, she seems like she wakes up early, tends to her duties, and like morning is kind of a quiet time for her. She doesn't seem to have like much to say at this time. And after,
I think Ailstain is secretly thankful for that right now. I think he's not himself, and he's trying to play it down.
Neve sits with you in just sort of quiet companionship. Not uncomfortable silence, just sort of the two of you eating together. After about an hour, you see Kaz,
Jesus.
kind of hair
Long
ruffled, comes down the stairs. He like slides the bartender 2 gold, and he just says like, coffee. And you see the bartender nods, and like makes him a drink. And about 45 minutes later from that, Ambrose comes down the stairs. He is like, he looks done up for the day. It looks like he maybe woke up around the same time as Kaz, but took the 45 minutes to like take like a bath or something. You're not really sure, but he looks more put together.
Every hair on his head is meticulously placed.
Yes, it's very, he's got his hair sort of wrapped and like tied up into like a man bun. And it's very, he's got his pink circle glasses on today, with sort of like gold like dangly chains.
God, everyone looks beautiful, and like then there's him and Neve look beautiful, and then Kaz and Ailstain just look like fucking messes.
Yeah, Kaz looks tired. His like long brown hair is like curly, but not like in a tangled way. It's just sort of naturally like wavy. And the like white in his hair kind of stark against the darkness of the rest of it. You know, he is just like quietly like holding the coffee and like drinking it. He also has not said anything to either of you. He just like drank his coffee in complete silence. And then Ambrose comes down the stairs. He sweeps into the room. Good morning, friends. How are we today? I trust you all slept well. Ailstain. Neve. I know how Kaz slept. Not well. He never does. Breakfast? Have we eaten? Oh, you're already eating. Okay. Bartender. And you see he gets some food for himself. And he asks again if they have, like, tea. And the bartender just makes him another smoothie. Gives that to him.
This man has one drink.
Yeah, and it's smoothie. Well, this man has one drink. It's ale and really not much else. So
the goal of this campaign is actually going to be to get Ambrose plastered drunk one of these days and see how he acts.
Hey, you'll maybe. After all of you sort of finish eating and gather yourselves for the day, you see Kaz kind of leans back on the counter, elbows up, and he says, like, well, are we ready to head out, or are we gonna dick around in this place for another week?
Ailstain says, no, I'm itching to get to the Revelia.
You see Neve sort of finishes what she's eating, and she sort of is like, and I as well. My sisters, I must find them. It would be best if we left soon. Are we all prepared? And you see Ambrose like sort of adjusts his glasses and he sort of like looks at you, like he like lowers them a little bit to look at you over the rim of them, and he says, "I am prepared." And then he like puts them back on and he goes, "Shall we go?"
Jesus Christ, he just fucking came out and Ambrose already has the cunt meter cranked up to 11.
He got a good sleep.
Ailstein nods and he says, "All right, come on, you chuckle fucks."
You see, as all of you exit the tavern, you see Neve says, "Is that what you call yourselves?"
Chuckle fucks, dickheads, ragtag fucks.
Okay. You
Says,
see,
I don't know what else do I, he looks at Kaz and Amber, says, "What else do I call you guys? I can't remember."
you see Kaz goes, "Bastards. I think you called me a whore once."
Oh yeah, the whores. These are the two whores that follow me around.
And you see Neve says, I see. And as you sort of make your way through town towards the North Woods, not many people on the streets this early. The mist sort of wending its way around all of you. You see she is sort of like, "So you don't call yourselves anything? Like, you don't have a name for your little group?"
I don't know if you picked this up from our conversation last night, but we're not exactly professionals out on a mission. We just have a common interest.
She says, "Well, I suppose, but I think names are fun and interesting." And you see, unfortunately, she has planted the idea in Ambrose's head, and you see the gears like turning in there. And you see he just goes, "We should have a name. Ailstein, I want a name. We should have a name. Let's all start brainstorming as we go through the forest. What should we be called?" And you see Kaz just looks at you, like the eye bag's kind of heavy, and he just looks at you like, "Why?"
Ailstein and the shit stains. All right, let's go.
You see, Evers just goes, "No." But you see Neve just is gently like, "It's unique." As you make your way through town, you finally arrive at the woods. The woods to the north. Let me pull up the map of the Verloren Wood. So you have the directions from Shay. He told you that the carnival grounds were to the north and to the east. You head in that direction?
Are there mountains in that direction?
No. Oh, wait, sorry. To the north and to the west, I think he said?
Oh, okay. Did you get your east and west mixed
I
up?
did, correct. Absolutely, I did, yes.
To the west.
To the west, yeah. Yes, it's to the north and to the west. Sort of in the direction of Wildgrave, but more sort of northish. The four of you enter into the woods, following Shay and Laurent's directions to the remains of the carnival ground of the Revelia. Give me a... Do you want to take the lead and do a survival check, or do you want to do a group survival check? You muted yourself.
Oh, I did actually accidentally mute myself. I was coughing. So I mean, I assume our marching order is Ailstain in front since he's got the highest armor class, I think, right?
Okay.
Or does what's Neve's armor class?
Neve has a 12.
Oh my fucking god, really?
She's a druid. She's a spellcaster.
Oh, I guess she doesn't have light armor, does she?
No, she's wearing. She's wearing. No, she's wearing light armor. It gives her an AC of 11.
Oh my god. Can we get her studded leather or something before we leave?
Sure. Before you leave town, you can buy her some studded leather armor.
We desperately got to get these fuckers some AC, dude.
She'll cough up the gold for that. She's got some.
Oh, okay.
So
Every point of AC is insanely important when you're a caster. I mean, unless she has mage armor. Does she have mage armor as a spell?
She
Because,
does
like, if that's the
not
case,
have
then she needs
mage
to not be wearing armor. Okay.
she does not have mage armor. So the question still stands. Are you doing a survival roll, or do you want it to be a group check?
I mean, I have a +2 to survival, and I get advantage if it's
Oh, that's well.
for Fey, Fiend, or Undead.
To be so fair with you,
Actually,
Neve has proficiency in survival, and she has a +5. So she suggests that she takes point as she leads you through the woods. She says, Wildgrave is not too far from here, and to be fair, the Verloren Wood is kind of my home, so I know this place very well. I feel that I'd be able to lead us there. Although you have the ticket, correct? So perhaps with the two of us working together, we would find it easier.
Yeah, he's taking the ticket out at this point, and he's like, firmly grasping it so it doesn't do some shit in case it's like enchanted or something. But
all right, with your help and the ticket, Neve will make a survival check with advantage to lead you in the correct direction. Let's do that. Oh, she needed that advantage. She got a 19. So, it takes you not long at all. As you enter the woods, the ticket in hand, Neve is sort of guiding you along, like moving trees out of the way, like, making sure to like tell you like when there's like roots on the ground you might trip over. And she's sort of like, like kind of guiding the terrain a bit. And you see she's actually using like druid craft to kind of like sculpt a path forward in this forest that becomes so dense it is difficult to traverse through. This path rarely trodden, this place no one has been to in such a long time. You're not even sure how people arrived here. This forest so densely packed, and now sort of the vines rooting the trees together like some kind of like barrier. The fog is thicker in this place. The darkness, the shadows, darker, longer. The sounds of the forest grow quiet the deeper in you go. And it is at this point the ticket in your hand starts to pull, and you feel it tethered somewhere ahead of you. The two of you work together to follow the direction that it's sort of guiding you in. And before you is a wall of mist. It is dense. You cannot see the other side in most places. It extends in every direction. You look left and right and you cannot see the end. You look up and it disappears above the tree line. But in front of you, where you hold the ticket to it, it thins enough for you to be able to, like, see with enough visibility the forest ahead. It like the ticket as your guiding light carves a path through this mist. And you see Neve like motions for you to take the lead, and she will follow up right behind you. You see Kaz pushes Ambrose, so he walks behind her and he takes up the rear.
I think as it becomes clear that they may have found what they're looking for, I think Ailstain notices his own hand trembling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And as he notices that, he reaches his other hand, the one not holding the ticket, into his bag. He pulls out a cigarette and he lights it.
You see Harry is still in your sort of cloak, but just peeks his little nose out and is like touching his wet nose to your neck. And it's kind of like, you're kind of like, ugh. But it's also kind of like, you think that he's trying to like get you to focus on something else. Give you a sensation to distract you. You step into the mist. And as the four of you enter, you see the way behind you shroud over with that mist again. The ticket acts as sort of like a bubble, almost. Like the mist around you in a certain radius is thinner. But beyond that, it is still too thick to see through.
Hold hands now, everyone. I don't want you all getting lost. I ain't turning around.
You see Neve slips her delicate, sort of heavily tattooed and heavily ringed finger or hand into yours. She reaches back for Ambrose, and Ambrose for Kaz. The four of you. Actually, as the four of you hold hands and make your way through this place of danger, Ailstain, you are, I think, focused on what you're doing, sort of like focused on leading in where the ticket is guiding you. But everything slows for a moment. Not a long time, just the blink of an eye. The world slows down. I'm not even sure that Ailstain is necessarily aware of this, but it is something that the rest of us looking in on this see. Time slows. A light appears in Ailstain's chest. Silver, like moonlight, or something similar. It extends out from his chest in a thread. A thin, shimmering thread of light. And we see it extends back and connects into Neve. And a light appears in her chest. And that same thread then extends back to Ambrose. Then extends back to Kaz. And Kaz all the way back to Ailstain in the front. I don't think you notice this.
Should we roll to see if we do?
No. It happens in the blink of an eye. And it's gone. And all of you have gained heroic inspiration. For those who don't know, heroic inspiration is something only the DM can give. It is like bardic, but different. Heroic inspiration is you can, on any d20 roll, choose to give yourself advantage. And in my games, you can choose to roll that advantage after you have already rolled once. So if you roll, you fail, you can use that inspiration to roll again. All 4 of you gain heroic inspiration as you hold hands and walk together into the unknown. You've muted yourself again.
I had no idea the power of friendship was in this game.
Unaware of this moment, the 4 of head forward. It takes a little while still, even past this mist, and you are certain that if you did not have this ticket, you would be lost in this fog probably forever. After what seems like forever and also too quickly, completely uncertain of the time in this place, you all finally walk into a clearing. But I don't think it's what you were expecting. You exit the mist into a clearing, and instead of finding like the remains of like a fairground or like anything sort of relative to what maybe you were expecting, you see it's immediately obvious to you. You are in a different forest. It's similar. The trees coniferous. The fog everywhere. But whereas the Verloren wood was ancient and magical and mystical and a little bit frightening, this place is... evil's not the right word. This wood is malicious, perhaps? Magical in its own way, but not the same. The air here hangs thick. And as Kaz the last into the clearing steps, the wall of mist solidifies behind him. And the ticket ceases to tug in any direction. Give me just a moment to change the music. And I will then describe to you what you feel or what you see.
Well, that's good news. I guess it's not admit 1.
You see everyone is
Admit
sort of
1
looking
plus
around.
4.
You enter this wood. You see dark, emerald-toned trees tower over you. Despite the claustrophobic density of the trees and the undergrowth you see on the ground, this forest is eerily quiet. The soil is damp from recent rain and smells pleasantly earthy, tinged with an aroma of decay and you look on the ground and see many spongy mushrooms that cover the forest floor. Sorry, this music is just a little bit too loud. The natural light overhead is largely blocked out by the trees, but what little peeks through casts long, unnatural shadows across a dirt path before you. You're not sure you were on a path before, but as you step into this clearing, there is one before you. The silhouettes of the branches reach out over the path like long, taloned hands. Coniferous trees all around. Though it is silent, there is occasionally the cawing of a raven, of a crow, and distantly something that sounds like a scream but then is gone. And you're not sure if you imagined it or if it was really there. You are in the clearing. A path before you. What do you do? You see Neve looks around and is like, well, this is not the same forest that we were in at all.
Since so Ailstain has a pretty good idea that the being that Hecna made a deal with or is working with or whatever is probably an aberration, right?
You assume from intelligence you've gathered.
Mm-hmm. How long does Know Your Prey last? Is it just until the next time you use it?
Until the next time you use it after a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to
I'm
activate
gonna Know
it?
Your Prey for aberrations.
What does it look like as Ailstain activates this new power?
I mean, I don't know that he knows like any particular ritual that he would need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he just draws his sword and has it in hand
Mm-hmm.
as he's focusing on that information about aberrations.
You hold the sword in your hand, and instinctively you think on the knowledge that you learned. You're sure an aberration is involved. The pommel, the amethyst glows slightly. And you feel knowledge just beyond your grasp and to your mind. Accessible to you if you reach for it. You are looking for, and for the next, until your next long rest, you are tuned to aberrations.
Okay.
You would like to...
I want to investigate this this clearing
Okay.
and
Do you-
see if anything stands out to me about it, aside from the fact that it's apparently super evil, or I guess malicious, not evil. You were very
Malicious.
particular about that word.
Is, are you going to use the action to search for the number of creatures, or are you simply activating and attuning to aberrations?
Let's do both.
Okay,
I mean, there's no limit on how many times you can do that, right?
correct.
Yeah, so why not both? Both is
You-
good.
You attune to aberrations, and it allows you to sense if there are any within the mile. And currently it brings back no information. So you don't believe there to be any aberrations within a mile of you currently. If you'd like to go ahead and make an investigation or a perception check to investigate this clearing, you may do so. I'm sure your companions would like to help you if you'd like to do a group check, or if you would ask one of them to give you advantage.
Sure, I'll take advantage.
Okay. You see, again, Neve will offer her expertise of woodland places.
Ooh. 21.
Oh, fantastic.
Fancy.
You take a look around this clearing. You and Neve sort of spread out. Ambrose and Kaz kind of sticking to the path, and just sort of like keeping an eye out as well.
The city slickers sticking to the path.
You turn in a direction, and you thought that you turned away from the path, but when you turn, the path is in front of you again. And in the distance, the mist lightens just a bit above the trees, and you see dazzling, tall, red spires in the distance. And on a 21, you catch on to this sort of game quickly. No matter which direction you turn, you are turned back in the direction of the spires. And also on a 21, you see Neve across the clearing from you goes, "Oh, hello." And you see what at first looked like a tree begins to move slowly. Its branch-like limbs cracking, creaking. The ground trembles as a gigantic, treant-looking creature takes a step forward and lumbers into the clearing. You see it towers over her, and she just is sort of like holding her place and looking up at it. You see she is sort of like, "Hello, my name is Neve. We mean you no harm." And you see its massive head, vines covered. You see the barest imaginings of a face in the tree, hollow black eyes and a mouth that is like tree bark broken apart. It tilts its head.
Ailstain walks up and to Neve. He's like, "Friend of yours?"
You see that it sort of like moss covered. It looks down at the two of you and sort of tilts its head. And you see she kind of looks at you out of the corner of her eye, like, you see uncertainty, like she is not sure if this thing is like friendly or like what its vibes are. But she it looks down, it opens its mouth, and you just hear this garbled unspeech. Like it's trying to speak, or it does, but it's not something that you understand.
Sorry, I don't speak Italian.
And you see Neve tilts her head, like she does understand. And she says, is that what does that mean? Is that a warning? And the creature turns and slowly lumbers back into the forest and disappears into the fog. And you see that she sort of turns and looks at you. And she says, well, that was odd.
You talking in riddles?
You see, she sort of shakes her head and she says, it spoke the old language of the Fae, the, Sylvan, I think you call it. It said steam, fire, metal. I don't really know what that means, but it doesn't seem like it wants to hurt us, so that's good, I suppose.
Can I, like, insight check it when it was talking? Like, if it seemed afraid?
Sure. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Or if it was, like, just generally what the energy it was giving off was?
Mm-hmm.
14?
You think that, it didn't seem upset. It seemed maybe a little bit confused and sort of lost in wandering. But
I'm wondering if maybe nature's not happy about this Revelia being here.
You see, she turns to you and nods and is like, well, I would say if that is true, then that was probably a clear sign. You see Kaz and Ambrose back on the path are like, is it okay? It's good? Things are good?
Tree's mad about the clowns.
You see Kaz nods and he says, I'm also mad about the clowns, kind of. And you see Ambrose says, we haven't even got to any clowns yet. And he says, I'm already mad about them.
Clowns are the worst.
You see Neve kind of is like, well, all right. Should we follow the path then?
I mean, I don't think we exactly have a choice.
All right.
Mr. Heckner apparently gets to decide where we go, and it sounds like he's decided.
The four of you press on through the forest. It feels eerie and unpleasant. And the closer you get to, the further in the direction you travel towards these tall red spires, the better you feel. Like the unease is lifting the further away from this forest you travel. And after
So we probably... So this forest might be like an in-between place we have to traverse. We're in the fucking Shadowfell or some shit right now.
And after a few miles of walking, you breach the forest and arrive somewhere new.
Damn it, another forest. Oh, okay, there's a carnival.
Before you, in front of you is an imposing, twisting, iron wrought archway. Atop it, illuminated letters glow red, reflecting off the thick forest fog, making the letters sort of difficult to read. Despite the time you left, night has fallen like a thick blanket, and a full moon grins down from the sky, just a little too close.
Grins. Oh my god, it's close and it's grinning. It's the fucking moon from goddamn Majora's Mask, dude. Oh god, he turns around and looks to everyone. He's like, we got 3 days, guys. We got 3 days. We got to collect all the masks and we got to find a way to stop the moon from falling. We got to go to the giants. No. Sorry, go ahead.
Chill. You approach the gates. You see that everyone in your party just kind of looks at each other. And kind of shrug and kind of like wait for you to take the lead into the gates.
I think he's been puffing on that cigarette, and now that it's like at its base, he drops it on the ground and stomps it out.
Mm-hmm.
His hand's no longer shaking. And he turns to them and he says,
All right. As usual, follow my lead. We don't know for sure that they know that we're here.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we don't know what they know. They have us at a massive disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta play our cards close to our chest. All right?
You see all of them nod. You see Neve says, I think it's best we all keep our wits about us and look out for one another. I don't know really what to expect in there, but I don't think it's going to be good or kind. But from what I've seen of you thus far, I have faith. I have faith in all of us. And she says like a quick prayer to Nyx. And she says, okay, I'm ready.
can I, as an action, once again, use that ability to see how many aberrations I sense?
You use this ability, and it is strange because it's like the radius is a mile in all directions.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel blips. There are aberrations here. But the distance is like... It's like if you were viewing it physically, like a big circle, and the aberrations are little red dots on the map. The dots are like fading in and out and moving and constantly shifting, never staying in one place. And the number is changing because they're moving away and in and out and all over. And it's like, you know that they're
going
here.
Out of range.
Yes, but constantly. It is never ceasing. And so it's hard to actually get a grasp on how many there are and where exactly they are. You know, generally they're forward in front of you in this beyond the gates. But other than that, it's like the magic here is like weird.
I think after Neve says her whole thing about how nothing good waits in there, and I think Ailstein follows it up with,
I'll tell you what's waiting in there. Aberrations.
Oh, aberrations. Like from... Then you see she points up to like the darkness of space.
says,
I don't know where they're from, but I just know they're here.
Aberrations. Okay. And you see Kaz just takes his mace out. Like, he's just gonna hold on to it.
I think Aelstein resheaths his sword and he like hand gestures to like Kaz to keep his sheath too.
You see
Or
Kaz.
keep his mace sheathed or whatever put away.
He like, but he puts it back. And you see Ambrose goes,
Oh boy.
He goes, "Don't worry, darling. It'll be all right." And he goes, "Yeah, whatever you say." And you step forward. Beyond the iron gates and under the archway.
Before we could proceed any further,
Mm-hmm.
is that effect still happening where like we're being guided to the front gate?
No. As soon as you stepped into the clearing, the ticket stopped, guiding you forward.
Is there like, I don't know that he wants to immediately go through the front gate. I feel like this is like a turning point or something. Like I feel like once we're in there, shit's gonna be different, you know? Does anything like seem off about the like gate? Is it like marked with like runes or anything, or like
The illuminated letters above, nothing about the gate necessarily. You see just inside the gate, there's sort of like some stuff happening, but from where you're standing, it's kind of hard to see. Like you have to step inside to sort of tell any, like get a better idea of what's going on. But from where you're standing just outside, it's just an iron wrought gate.
I think he steps through the threshold, but then immediately takes a step back out to see if he still can.
Yeah, you step through the gate. Everyone holds their breath. You step back out. Nothing happens.
I know there's gonna be some fucking trickery around here. It's just figuring out where it is. He shrugs and says, "All right, let's go."
You all enter the Revelia. Your bag shudders after you've taken a few steps inside this place.
God damn it! Now we're locked in.
From your bag, the Hecna flyer that brought you to this place, that says help on the back of it, flies out of your bag.
Oh.
You see that it sort of whirls around. The letters...
He turns to Ambrose and he says, "I thought you said this shit wasn't enchanted."
He says it wasn't. The word help scrawled in red letters
In blood.
shifts, and you see that it now says ha ha with a smiley face and bursts into flames, disappearing. Before you, you see Ambrose goes, "That's uh-oh."
I think Aelstein calls back and he says, "I just want all three of you to know, I'm slitting Heckna's throat with my own fucking sword, okay? I call dibs on that."
You see all of them are like, and you see Neve looks around and says, should we not say his name? I don't, and as she's kind of like, in front of you, you see two statues, depicting a tall clown with his face hidden behind a mask. You see slapped onto the midriff of one of the statues is a poster with the same figure and mask as the clown's. Except this poster, the mask is animated. It's moving. It winks at you. You see that the statues are completely gold from head to toe. And every few seconds, they change poses. And as you step closer to them, you see a sound emanates from them simultaneously and in sort of perfect sync. They say, "Welcome, my weary, winsome, wondrous visitors."
I think he pulls his fucking one of his flintlocks and shoots it in the face.
The statue or the poster?
Whichever one's talking.
Both of the statues are speaking.
Then he just picks one, the closest one. He shoots it in the face.
This is a solid gold statue. Your flintlock bounces off and pierces a tent nearby. The statue does not stop speaking and acts like nothing has happened. Once again, because you interrupted me.
I'm just telling you what he would do.
It says,
it starts talking. He just draws it like quick draw like a fucking cowboy.
"Welcome, my weary, winsome, wondrous visitors." And then it says something weird. That sounds like words, but doesn't make really any sense to you. It sounds like a language, but like the words are so weird. Like it doesn't really make any sense. It says a rally rune for Revelia. Please do look around. Partake in the games, in the treats. There are no limits here. Whatever you can dream is yours. Just don't forget to smile. And then they shift poses again. And again, every few seconds are sort of just like shifting poses.
I think he turns to the three of them and he says,
Obviously fucking disregard everything that bitch just said.
All of them are like, you see, Ambrose is like, "Enchanted statue. Now that's interesting. I would like to," and you see Kaz is like pulling him away from the statue.
it's like, yeah, don't touch that. And also do like, I feel like I need to stress this just because, you know, we got Ambrose on the team here. No consuming anything here, okay? That's a hard and fast rule.
Well,
okay.
You see, well, Neve says, "Well, we didn't pack enough provisions to last us. Like, we're gonna need to find food, but..."
What? We didn't bring rations?
"Well, I'm sure we did. How long are you planning on being here, Ailstein? I have provisions for, you know, a little while, but not for all of you."
Well, yeah, but we're getting who we came for and we're leaving.
Right, I'm just saying, like, that can't be a hard and fast rule. If we need to eat something, like, you see, she says, like, you see Kaz says, like, "Well, I can, detect things that have poison in them and, you know, things like that." And she says, like, I can purify food. Like, don't worry. Like, I can, if something is inedible.
Says, no, you're gonna fucking try to eat something and it's gonna be like a person.
You see, she goes, "All right, well, let's take this as it comes then." And actually, after you step past the statues, you start to hear the clamor of the rest of the carnival.
Thankfully, we hear it after Ailstein shot his gun, so no one's gonna be startled.
As you step past the statues, you see before you a wondrous, vibrant carnival. You see sweethearts strolling hand in hand, munching on sort of all various kinds of treats. You see popcorn. You see sort of something that looks like it's covered in chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
You see creatures and persons of all kinds walk around with smiles on their faces. You see laughter rings distantly in the air. You see strangely dressed clowns with brightly colored hair and outfits roam through the crowds. Everywhere there are many tents and buildings, most emblazoned with very colorful signage depicting things like a ticket booth or some kind of shop or food stall. In the distance, at the center of the carnival, you see a large, colorful signboard, and behind it, a enormous red tent looms in the air, its spires piercing the misty sky overhead. You also catch a glimpse of a sort of glittering Ferris wheel, also pretty far in the distance. And both of these structures, though incredibly large, appear like hazy. Imagine like a mirage. And you see half hidden behind a nearby tent, sitting on the ground with an arm around them, you see someone, a humanoid figure, and you see that they are beckoning to you. Chat. And I cannot stress this enough.
Are you about to run a poll?
I am about to run a poll. Would you like to run your ads first?
I think you should tell them what the poll is, but then run the poll itself after we get back from the ads.
Okay.
So they have the ad time to think about it.
The poll, and I will stress this to you, this is an important one. Who is this figure? The options will be the stoic assassin, the colorful scientist, or the trophy hunter.
While they're voting, do all the people, you said everyone here is like smiling, right?
Not everyone. It just sort of seems like a lot of people are happy and like smiling and like having a good time.
And so is it like even like the revelers, like the people who, I assume there's like people that seem to work at the Revelia and then people that are just guests?
Yes. So you see various clowns and various people dressed in like carnival attire. All of them have like crazy hair and makeup and outfits on. So all of them are very like obvious. However, you do see some people who you don't think work there, but seem to have adopted the kind of like outfits as well. Like they're wearing like, they're not as like vibrant and crazy as like the people who are working there. But they're everyone is dressed in a very sort of carnival-y like fashion.
And so like even the guests seem to mostly be smiling?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah, basically everyone looks like smiling, happy, laughing, like having a good time.
And then my other question is, could I run like some kind of investigation or something on like the revel workers? Because I know we had information from the Queen of Rags that evidently there are, I forget what she called them, the creations. I know that she said that Hecna has 2 creations. I'm curious if like
his pets is she referred to.
Yeah. But I'm curious if like there seems to be like anything that seems off about everyone else who works here, could they also potentially be some kind of abomination?
I will let you run this. I will let you roll, but not right now.
Oh.
I will let you roll
Okay.
in just a bit. It seems like our poll has concluded.
Okay.
And I cannot stress to all of you how happy I am that it seems like the colorful scientist won out. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who voted. Any of these options would have been great, but I just want to let you know you can be happy knowing that this was the one that I was hoping for.
Gay scientist.
Well, it says colorful.
Rainbow.
It just says colorful.
Scientist, gay. I mean, all scientists are gay.
So, Elstane.
It's like cowboys.
All of you. Opal, yes. This scientist, a woman. So all of you have just sort of entered and are sort of standing at just past the statues. You're sort of in like just the beginning row of tents. And you see off half hidden on the ground is a you see an exhausted, stocky human woman slumped up against the red velvet tent.
The one non-smiling person.
You see that her arm is cradled against her chest. You see that she has frizzy red-orange hair that is graying and sort of escaping the like messy like bun that she has it in. And her once white lab coat is stained and patched, and like it's been like embroidered with little flowers, and it's covered in like various colored stains and patched with like various different like fabrics. And you see that despite the weariness on her face, that her eyes are kind. You see that she is tying a splint with one hand to some broken fingers. And you see that she is sort of like she's like, she sees all of you, is like motioning for you to come over, and is like shuffling over while like cradling her arm to like make room behind this tent for you.
So no one else can see her then? They're not like
Yes.
reacting to her? Okay.
No, yeah. She's like purposefully like trying to stay hidden, like cradling her arm and like motioning for you to come over.
Sure. Can I roll that check first?
In just a minute. After
What?
you meet her.
What? But I... Huh? Why can't I roll it now?
What specifically are you looking for?
Just if anything seems off about the people working at the carnival, or like if they just seem like normal humanoids.
Give me a perception check. Because you're right at the beginning of this carnival. You don't see actually too many people who look like workers. You see most of the people around you are like people attending the carnival.
19.
19. Yeah, most everyone you see is smiling. Looks like they're having a good time. You see down the road there are some clowns like juggling, and people like gathering in crowds and like laughing and like eating like various things. You see there appear to be like some like spectacles happening like further in. You're still at like the very beginning of this carnival.
Okay. But does anything seem off about the ones I do see?
On a 19. Let me check.
It sounds like something might be off about them, boys. I think my instinct here was correct.
You see that on a 19,
They seem off.
as you look around, I know that you're specifically looking for like people, but there just aren't many of them around. So instead, what you see, at least right here, like you'd have to go further in to see really any of them. But what you do see on a 19 is you see the buildings and the rides in the distance, and including this what looks like a fun house. It's like a gigantic clown's face, and it looks like the entrance is a mouth, and all of it appears distorted like a mirage, like I said before. And you see that you really take a look around as you're like looking for people, and you notice that while initially everything was like bright and colorful and like looks really like great and like put together, that you start to take in the little details, and you see that there is paint that is peeling on the exteriors of the nearby buildings. And you see that there is like rich red velvet of the tents is like muddied and like fraying. You see a few tent poles are like cracked and like sort of patchworked back together. Everything has like a slightly worn look, but it's mostly hidden by the dark of the night and the bright lights of the carnival that like pull your attention away from it.
Okay.
And the couple of people that you do see who do appear to be working here, you see that all of the workers specifically are smiling incredibly widely and don't stop smiling. Whereas everyone else appears to be like smiling, laughing, and like talking, they never stop smiling.
So the workers may be smiling against their will, perhaps.
Possibly. So that is what you see.
But they do seem like people.
They all appear to be humanoid with clown features, like crazy, colorful hair. And you notice on a 19, most of them appear to have a big red, like, clown nose on as well.
Most, but not all.
Pretty much all of them. Like, there appear to be some that aren't exactly humanoid that don't have them on. But any like organic creature appears to have like a red cloud nose.
So there's non-humanoid ones?
Yeah. You see a couple, you catch a glimpse down an alleyway. You don't focus on it for too long. But you see on a couple of the stalls appear to be little doll like marionettes that appear.
Oh, and they're moving?
They appear to be like autonomous and like speaking and acting as merchants and things like that. So the
Weird little freaks.
the marionettes do not appear to have any sort of like clown nose. They just look like dolls.
I attack the nearest marionette. I'm kidding. I don't actually do that.
So that is what you see on a 19.
All right. We approach her.
You see this woman. Again, she sort of like scoots out of the way and is like cradling her now splinted arm to make room for you. God, you made me lose my place. Hold on, I have to find it again. There it is. You see that she goes, you see that she kind of like motions with her good hand for you. And all Neve is like, but you all like sort of approach. And you see Neve says, are you hurt? Are you okay? Are you all right? Do you need healing? And you see she looks down at her fingers and she goes, "Oh, this? Oh, this is nothing. It'll heal in no time. How about you?" And you see that she motions. You see that she motions to your bandaged hand, Ilstain. And she says, "Come here. Let me take a look at that. Is it infected? You can't be too careful here. Lots of ways to get infected by things. I should probably take a look at that. Are you all right?"
Oh no, don't worry about it. This is a really old wound. It just is taking a while to heal.
She goes, "Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Okay, fantastic.
Punched a bear in the face and it bit back.
A bear? You found a bear in the woods? Where? I haven't seen a bear. Well, it's been a while since I've been to the petting zoo. I did hear the shepherd maybe found a bear, but I'm not really sure how they got it here. I don't really know. Hi, it's so nice to meet you." And she, with her good hand, she goes, "My name is Stella. Dr. Stella. Nice to meet you. You look new here. Are you new here? I couldn't tell if you walked through the gates. Are you new? I'm Stella. So nice to meet you. You, She kind of motions for you to come closer and she says, you shouldn't be here. It was probably a bad idea for you to come. Do you know where you are?"
Says, yeah, the Revelia. I've heard so much about this, the dreams come true or whatever here. What did the fucking flyer say? He like pulls the flyer back out.
Well, your flyer burst into flames.
Right. It's like, sorry, the flyer fucking burst into flames back there. I'm not sure why, but
She goes, "Oh, yes, that happens. That is sort of how he tricks people into coming here. It's quite terrible, really." And then she goes, "Oh, actually, we have to be quiet here. She goes, "You look like very kind people. I should, okay, keep your voices down. Shh. It's okay. It's all right. You see, she sort of like is like looking around and is like being like really flighty. And she goes, "Okay, no."
he
I
slowly looks over his shoulder to see if like anyone is trying to find them.
You seem to be pretty well hidden behind this tent, and it doesn't immediately appear like anyone is searching for you. Though she does have a broken hand. So you're not really sure. But she goes, here. She goes, "Well, let me help you. You're new, so you probably don't know about the Revelia. Let me help you. And you see she sort of is like thinking, and she goes, "Well, okay. The important things, right? Okay. Don't get clowned. Important, very important.
I'm always saying that. Don't get clowned.
You see, she goes, "No, but seriously, don't get clowned. It's quite a terrible death. You really don't want it to happen to you. It's called clown." You see, it's called clown corruption, darling, and you really don't want it to happen to you. Quite fatal, in fact. Quite fatal.
He points at Kaz and he says, "Well, I think some of us are actually like immune to becoming clowns, so."
And you see he flips you off. And you see she goes, "Oh, that is quite naive that you think anyone is immune to clown corruption. No, unfortunately, it could happen to anyone. Yes, unfortunately, it has happened to many people. Many people. It's quite a terrible way to die." Anyways, so some things that you should know.
He says, "Well, now we gotta make sure it happens to you, Kyle."
You see Kaz goes, "Yep. Kyle." That's me. You see that she goes, "So, I don't know how much you know about this place, but you seem new, so I think I'm going to help you, okay? I'm just going to tell you a little bit, just a couple quick survival tips, okay? First of all, don't get clown corrupted, okay? Quite a terrible thing. Quite a terrible way to die, okay? Fantastic. 2, it is much too dangerous for me to speak on everything that will happen here. I can't tell you everything right now. If you find me later, then I'll probably tell you more, if you survive that long. But important things. Watch the moon. You've seen the moon? The moon. You know Heckna? You know about Heckna? Yes? Nod your head, yes or no?
Says, of course I know Heckna. I know he's full of himself.
Okay, fantastic. Yes, but shh. Don't let him hear you say that. Really, you don't want to die a horrible death. So, Heckna, of course, the mastermind, built the Revelia, rules over it. Of course, he is constantly watching the guests, and, well, he's extremely powerful. Okay, so, if you can see him, and I do mean if you can see him, in any capacity. If you see his face, if you see his likeness, if you see him anywhere in this carnival, he can see you too. And he can hear you. So
oh, thank God he saw me shoot him in the face. Oh, thank God. That makes me feel so good. I'm so happy. The first interaction we ever had together was me shooting that fucker in the face. Holy shit. And he lightly taps Ambrose's shoulder. He's like, you have no idea how happy that makes me. Okay, anyway, keep going.
And you see Ambrose is like, will you shut up and let her finish talking? She's saying a lot of important stuff. And you see she says, you're quite a lively one. I'm sure you'll make up, I'm sure you'll rise the ranks very quickly here, if that was your first intention here was violence. Oh, I'm sure Hector's going to love you. Okay, second, no one arrives here by chance, unfortunately, so you are expected, I'm sure. But you probably already know that. You seem to know a little bit already, so that's, it's good to know your fate, at least. And none are able to leave, unfortunately, so we're all kind of stuck here. That's okay.
Says, no, we'll be leaving.
She says, well,
preferably with his head in my hands, but we'll see.
ooh, shh.
We'll see where the night takes us.
Don't say that out loud, please. I'd like to keep mine. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Death? How do I say this? You can die, but that does not mean that you'll leave. Okay, he'll bring you right back. So, don't think that that's your way out either, okay? Just, a lot of people think of it, but unfortunately, it doesn't work. What else? The only, if you did really want to escape, I think that the only way out is probably to kill Heckna, right? But no one's ever done that before. There are...
Hey, first time for everything.
You see that she kind of says, like, there are some rumors of some kind of vehicle that can pierce the boundaries of the Revelia, that perhaps you could use to escape. I don't know much about that. Those are just kind of rumors. But if you're really planning to try and escape, I'd probably start there. That's a good bit of information. You'll thank me for that one later. Yeah. What else? Oh, so some areas of the Revelia, this is called the Jamboree, by the way. This is the Jamboree, okay? And certain areas are far more dangerous than others, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? Are you listening? You should probably write this down, okay? First of all, the Jamboree is the safest. For now, okay? So, you're safest here, alright? Injuries, commonplace. You see she motions to her arm. She says, very commonplace. People get hurt here all of the time. Okay, it's quite common. If you need a safe place to rest, which you likely will, really the only place that I can think of is the hostel. You'll need to get a room, but it's kind of the only place that you'll be able to rest when no one will just outright attack you in your sleep. So it's probably a good idea to secure a room there whenever you're trying to rest. Okay, so write that down. What else? Food, you'll probably need to eat. The food in the food court, mostly safe to eat.
Oh, we won't be eating that.
Okay, so you'll starve, but that's all right. Like I said, you can't die, so he'll just bring you back. Like I said, mostly safe to eat.
No.
Just kind of depends on your diet. So,
No, we're not stupid. We've got rations.
okay. Oh, fantastic. Right. So those will last you for a little while, and then when they run out and you die of starvation, he'll just bring you back, and it'll be fine. What else? What else?
You're making a lot of assumptions about us right now.
Oh, the moon. Completely not listening to what you're saying. The moon. Okay, the moon.
Okay.
You've noticed the moon. Look out for the moon. The moon is direct.
Yeah, it's falling on us, and we got to get the giants to pick it back up so that it doesn't crush us on day 3. Yeah. Yeah, basic stuff.
So the moon is directly tied to Hecna's emotions. So if you ever want to know how Hecna is feeling, just look up, okay? Full moon means like he's pretty good. All right, he's feeling pretty confident, and he's also pretty powerful. So don't try anything on a full moon, basically. The other moon
Got it,
phases.
so
The other
kill
moon
him on a new
phases,
moon.
New moon means he is sleeping, right? So, which a new moon almost never happens, essentially. Well, actually, sorry, new moon never happens. The waxing or the waning moon, his whims are kind of capricious. He's kind of a capricious guy. On a waxing moon, he's usually like full of joy and laughter and things are good. A waning moon means he is very bitter and he's feeling particularly cruel. Okay? So, if there's a waning moon, you should probably hide. Probably go somewhere and hide. It's probably your best.
Well, if it doesn't move in normal cycles, how are we supposed to tell if it's waxing or waning? I guess if it's the left side or the right side?
Yeah, it's the left side or the right side. Yeah, it's really the only way to do it. Oh, the sun never rises here. It's eternally dusk, unfortunately. So you're going to have to start either counting the hours or just sort of succumb to the never-ending flow of no time. So, yeah, dusk. So dusk is sort of what you were saying about the new moon. There's no new moon, there's just dusk. Dusk is when Hecna is asleep, like I said. It'll get kind of twilighty in the sky, right? It's kind of very eerie time, okay? Not, but it also is kind of the only time when people can move unseen in this place. So keep an eye out for that. So those are the most common ones. It's usually a full moon out, you know. Unfortunately, however, there's another one. Ooh, blood moon. If there's a blood moon, run for your life. Run. Blood moon, horrible, bad. Blood moon, everyone dies. Okay? Write that down. Are you writing that one down? Write that one down in big red letters, okay? I'm not seeing you writing it, okay? Big red letters. Blood moon.
I've got a real good memory.
Okay.
I promise.
All right. Remember this. Okay. Blood moon, death. Everyone. Death. Okay. Good. Fantastic. Anyways, so that's sort of all I can think of. Yeah, things really aren't what they seem here, but I'm sure you knew that coming into this place. You seem smart. You seem like a smart guy. If any of you catch the clown corruption, do find me immediately, okay? Because as soon as you catch it, I maybe will be able to cure you, okay? But the longer you have it, the worse it becomes. And after a certain point, I won't be able to heal you anymore. And then you will die. A horrible, terrible, tragic death.
But then you come back, right?
Well, as a feral thrall, yes. Under Hecna's complete control and a vicious monster, nothing like you once were in life, so if you wish that to be your fate, then, you know. Anyways,
This guy really is full of himself, huh?
quite. Well, he built this whole...
I mean, seriously,
he built
like,
this whole
what the
carnival in
fuck?
his image.
He turns to the chuckle fucks, and he says,
I mean, seriously, he turned help into ha 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 as if he fucking tricked us. Like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Of course you were leading me in here.
You see, she kind of shrugs and says, "That's sort of just how he is, unfortunately." You see that she looks around and she says, "Oh, one more thing. The posters. The posters are his eyes and ears. Like I said, if you can see him, he can see you. So if there's a poster around, keep your mouth shut. Okay? Fantastic. I think that's everything that I really have to tell you right now. Like I said, there is probably more I could say, but here, not safe. Right here, not a safe place. In fact, and you see that, loud trumpets sound in the distance. And you see she goes, "Oh, I have to go. It was lovely to meet you. We shall probably meet again later. And like I said, any of you catch any kind of clown corruption, you let me know immediately. Otherwise, you'll probably die."
How are you gonna cure it?
She says, "Oh, I'm a doctor, darling." And you see that she's got this, around the corner of the tent, she's got this giant wagon that's full of, like, miscellaneous shit. And she's got this, like, medical kit with, like, various, like, tinctures and, like, medical devices and stuff. And she goes, "I'm a doctor. And the leading healer of clown corruption, as the only one who's ever studied it, so."
He says, what's the, what is it, like you mix a potion or something? Like, what's the cure look like?
Yeah, something like that. Well, I have to mix an injection to kill the corruption. It's quite a painful and horrible process. And you see the trumpet sound again. She goes, "Oh, I really have to go."
Well, I mean, I'm something of an alchemist myself. Maybe you could pass me the recipe or something.
You see that she's like packing up her shit. She goes, "I really have to go. I will find you later, or you'll find me later, or maybe we'll never meet again and you'll die right away. I don't know." The lost and found. She like gets very serious. She goes, "The lost and found. Go to the lost and found. If you wish to survive, you'll go to the lost and found. Okay, goodbye." And you see she, despite her injury, like rolls to her feet, grabs her wagon with one hand, and runs away. You see Ambrose goes, "That was the most eccentric woman I've ever met in my life." And you see Kaz is like rubbing his temples. He's like, "That woman gave me a migraine."
He says, "Well, she's the first one we've really seen that wasn't grinning ear to ear, so
Neve is like,
either it's a trick by Hecna or..."
You see Neve nods and she says, despite her, well, everything about her, I weirdly trust her.
Says, "Yeah, I was kind of laying on the Hecna insults pretty thick, and nothing happened to us. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that maybe she don't work for him. I don't know. This guy seems very full of himself. So like,
Correct.
when I was insulting him right there, I feel like he would have done something about it if he'd heard that."
Right. I think that maybe we should maybe just wait until we're not around like posters and things to say those things. Just because I don't immediately want to anger this man. I don't know anything about him. I'd like to gather some intel and be, intelligent about this.
Oh, I agree.
I don't think that we should rock up to this place and start insulting him left and right, you know?
Well, yeah, that's why I was testing it right there. Like,
Right.
you were following that, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I just think that we need to be a little more careful about what we
I'd say she's like a 60% trust right now.
Yeah. You see, Amber says, "I have memorized everything that she said, so hopefully her information is useful." You see that the trumpets sound again, and Eve is like, "What is that?" And all of you turn towards the sort of main road that leads into the Revelia, like down. It seems to lead all the way up to like the big red tent. And you see sort of the distant sound of trumpets and drums begin to grow louder and louder. At first, it's sort of joyous, but then it very quickly melds into a cacophony of noise that is painful to listen to. You see that the tents move as revelers sort of drag them back from the main pathway through the jamboree. And you see with an explosion of fireworks, a huge, lavish cart is pulled by a just menagerie of animals, and it rounds the corner of the huge red tent. And you see on the cart is a enormous gilded cage. Chat. Another poll for you. Which of Hecna's pets is in the cage?
We know that there's 2 of them, and we know that they're weird, fucked up things that were made by his own body.
Yes.
The one made from his leg. The one made from his peepus. The peepus pet. Can we make friends with the pets? Absolutely not. We cannot make friends with the pets. They are him.
So, the options are Snout or Myrmidon or Myrmidon, however you want to pronounce that. Would you like to type that in the chat?
Yes. I forgot that I do that. What was the poll? Which of
the pets is in the cage?
Which of the pets are in the cage? And that's
Snout?
1 for Snout and 2 for I don't have no idea how to spell what you said.
Myrmidon.
Okay, that's in the chat.
Fantastic. Let me pull that up. 1 for Snout, 2 for Myrmidon. I will describe to you what they look like as soon as you vote on which one it is. I'll say that this one does have some implication, as all polls do. But just vote with your heart. Vote for whichever one you think sounds more interesting, or whichever.
Snout was made with his fucking nose. He cut off his nose and turned it into a pet. It's just a big, gross nose. Hecna's a freak. It's like got boogies coming out of it. Oh, yeah! What the fuck is that? That's disgusting! Ew! He like vomits.
Do we think everyone has voted, or
a few people have voted. Pretty close, but seems like Snout.
seems like
Anyone wants to tie it up, you can, but
fantastic. All right. Yeah, it looks like Snout. All right. I'm going to finish it there.
it's gonna be a big, gross human nose. You all did this to us.
So, you see that in this cage, a giant red, it almost insectoid. It's covered in red, almost like fur, but really short. It looks, the front of it is insectoid-like. It has long, spindly legs. Absolutely massive. It's funny. It strangely, it looks, the back half of it looks like a clown nose. But it's like veined and like just massive. You see that it is trapped in this cage, and it appears to be like trying to escape. It is like kind of, its legs are kind of like clawing at the cage. But you see acrobats swinging from colorful ropes and silks around the cage as it screeches and bellows. And you see the cart is surrounded by all of these like costumed dancers. The performers all are smiling very widely at the gathered crowd. And you see, atop the gilded cage is a tall humanoid figure decked merrily in vivid reds and golds. He wears a pale mask, the same one featured in the Funhouse Castle and on all of the posters and the statues. You see it is, the mask's mouth is carved into a grin. You see the figure is twirling a long baton that is shooting gold, like glittering fireworks into the sky. And he's like waving to the crowd and like pirouettes. The moonlight almost seems to like spotlight on him as he like elegantly like pirouettes on this fucking cage. He is without question the star of this show. And as the cart passes you, he turns, looks at you, and he blows you a kiss. Give me a either perception or investigation check.
Okay. 21.
Fantastic. You notice several things. The first thing you notice as the parade route starts to pass you, some of the acrobats and performers have tears rolling down their faces, despite their wide smiles. You see that you really see a lot of the stuff you noticed earlier. The fireworks are just illuminating what it seems he does not want you to see, which is the disrepair that is actually this carnival. It just everything in that worn look, everything just muddied, fraying, peeling, and the happiness that this parade, like, people have gathered to watch this parade. People are clapping and cheering, but in the stark light of the fireworks, you see the fear behind the smiles. You see anticipation. You see a lot of built-up emotion. You see people trying to get Hecna's attention. You see people are cheering and like people start dancing and clapping and like trying to like get his attention. Some people smile but subtly slink behind others and try and disappear into the crowd. And it's just between the oohs and the ahs, there's just such an air of tension and apprehension and fear. It seems like the point of this parade, you hear people start talking in the crowd. It appears that this parade is continuing towards somewhere in the Revelia that is being referred to as the naughty corner. And it seems like Hecna is very capricious, and he very frequently switches which pet is his favorite. And when he chooses a new one, he takes the unfavored one, parades it through the streets to this naughty corner where it's locked away, and makes like a huge spectacle of it. And you see people in the crowd commenting and like betting on who was like going to be the next favored pet. And you see people being like, I fucking told you it was Snout. You owe me 20 tickets. Cough them up. And you see the other person being like, nuh-uh, I said it was fucking Myrmidon, you idiot. And you see like, they're like laughing and like jeering at each other. And people are like laughing and pointing and cheering.
I see cursing is not allowed at this is not a family friendly carnival.
Oh no. With that perception check, you don't actually see a lot of children. Almost everyone here appears to be like at least adult-ish age. You don't see really any kids.
First time kidnapping.
Although, on a 21, you briefly catch a glimpse of what you think are children. You see a couple small figures darting through the crowds.
But they're marionettes?
They do not appear to be marionettes. They actually do look like children. They're wearing masks, so you cannot see their faces. You actually see them pickpocket someone in the crowd, and all of them dart away.
All right. So keep a close eye on our belongings.
And so the parade kind of continues past you. And just as it passes, someone comes up to you. This parade sort of passes you, and it takes a turn and sort of continues down to the eastern part of this circus, and sort of like disappears. The crowds follow the parade the entire way. There are so many people here. Like, this isn't like a little, like, you know, Hicktown circus. This is like a carnival. This place is absolutely massive. And I don't know, you see that Ambrose kind of looks around and is like, is it weird that I obviously knew that this was like going to be like, you know, probably a big place, but I'm a little surprised how many people there are. Like, there must be thousands of people here. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm surprised.
You weren't listening to what Stella said? Who knows how long a lot of them have been here.
And you see Kaz says, I'm interested in what she said about how time works here. If the sun never rises and the phases of the moon aren't in a continuous cycle, do you just have to count the hours? Or like, how long does someone live here? What are their lifespans like? What is a day in a place with no sun, with no way to tell time? I don't know.
I think that's part of the point.
It's weird here. And you see Neve nods, and she says, that moon is not my lady's. That moon is not of Nyx, and it mocks her. This place is a mockery, and I despise it. You see, she sort of looks around in disgust and is like, I hope that we find who we seek quickly. I do not wish to be here. I do not like this place. That man.
It is very funny watching all of them realize how fucked up and powerful this guy is when the entire time Ailstein's been telling them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then you see Kaz goes, did that guy blow you a kiss? Like...
Yeah, he's a freak.
Awesome. Really glad that he immediately was like, oh, I know you're here. Really subtle of him. Really great.
I mean, we're clearly like in his domain right now. I'm
Right.
sure he controls fucking everything here. I guess maybe it was a little optimistic of me to hope that we could stay undercover, but
Yeah.
seems like not.
You see that they all kind of shrug. And as the parade,
Opal, don't come. Ale State, don't come to the circus. It sucks. Everyone, hey, the circus sucks. Ale State, what did I fucking say?
true.
No one ever fucking listens to me.
You see that as the parade has passed, you see a human clown woman on a unicycle approaches you.
Oh,
You see that they are dressed in a sort of shabby black and white polka dotted suit with like bright red sort of scuffed up boots. Her hair is bright pink, and she's got this like really bright blue eyeshadow on. Her pink hair is like teased up to look like cotton candy. And she smiles at you, and you see a mouthful of sharp teeth.
oh, good.
And you see she sort of cycles up to you. She's on the unicycle, but is like, she's basically cycling in place to stay on it, but is like not like going anywhere. And you see she rolls right up to you. And she's like, "Hi there, are you new? Welcome to the Revelia." And is like cycling in place.
Says, no, we've been here for a few days? Question mark? We've been here for a little while.
You see she goes, "Oh, well, fantastic. I don't think I've ever met you before. My name is Pinky. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the Revelia if you've only been here for a little bit. How can I help you? Is there something that you need? Do you need directions somewhere? I'm so happy to help." And is like
It says,
cycling in place.
oh, Pinky, thank you. Then so nice to meet you, Pinky. We're actually so good. Actually, we were on our way to our next event. So we'll just be on our way now.
You see she goes, "Oh, don't be so silly. Well, I can escort you there. Where are you going? Did you want to go to the Midway? They're having lots of there's lots of stuff going on there right now. Did you need to play a game? Have you gotten your tickets yet? You should probably go get your tickets." And you see she's like riding in place. You see she pulls out a map. And immediately this map is wrong. She pulls out a map and unrolls it. And you see a flesh-colored, stitched together, it looks like skin that has been stitched together. And there's a little, like, face in the corner. And she goes, "Let me ask my friend Map you if he wants to tell you where to go." And you see that unfurls the map, and you see the map goes, "You fucking bitch! Why do you keep me rolled up like that? God, I fucking hate you. God, what do you want me to do now? Who the hell are these people? What do you want, huh? You need to know where to go? What?" And you see Pinky just goes, "Don't be so mean. They're new people. We need to tell them where to go."
He said, "No, I'm actually on Matthew's side. We don't need help. Thank you though."
Give me a perception check while you're speaking to Pinky.
Dirty 20.
While she's kind of enthusiastically trying to maintain conversation with you, she's sort of also saying like, "Did you see Hecna in the parade? Isn't he just the best? We love Hecna here." First of all, you notice while you're looking at Pinky, you see that her she's got a bright red clown nose on. And you see that it seems to almost twitch independently of them.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what that means.
So like they have a red clown nose on, and it seems to like move a little bit, like separate from
Like it's
them.
moving independently of her face?
Yes.
Like it's not attached to her face?
No, it seems to be like secure on her face. But you just see it like move a little bit. In a way that doesn't seem natural or like with the rest of her body.
So she's been clowned.
And secondly, you notice that when she is talking about Hecna, she seems to be earnest, but you detect something strange or like strained about their very enthusiastic smile that feels like forced or like coerced. And you see she's like really trying to keep in conversation with you. And you see, so anyway, she's holding out this
How old does she look?
it's kind of hard to tell. She looks maybe like early 30s? Early mid 30s?
How long have you been 30?
Her face is painted like a clown's, so it's a little bit hard to tell behind it. But she doesn't look super old, but not like super young either. It's a little bit hard to tell. And you see this map that she's holding that is sentient and is kind of gross. Just continues to berate her. And you see that she turns it to you, and you see like the comical face, and on it you see a map of what is the whole of the Revelia.
Oh.
And you see that it says,
Should I be seeing a map on the screen right now?
you know what? I'll pull it up for you. I will show it to you.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if you were supposed to be showing me one or not.
No, this is what it looks like. This is...
That looks so mushe like Bedlam's Castle. Holy shit.
Yeah. You see that
This man's making a mockery of Bedlam, dude.
You see that she turns the map to look at you, and he goes, "Hey, I'm Matthew McNally. Nice to meet you. What, you need a guide to this place? Yeah, I'll show you around. Get me out of this."
I thought it was Matthew.
Yeah, it's Matthew. It's MAP HEW, but they call him Map for short.
It was McNally.
McNally is his last name. And you see,
Bedlam, you have competition. No, he does not.
No.
This fucker could never. These two have nothing in common.
And you see, he says, "God, I'm tired of hanging out with you. Ever since I got turned into a map, I ain't been stuck with no one but you, and it's so annoying. Hey, you, let me show you around here, huh?" And you see Pinky says, "Well, I don't know." And you see Neve says, "I'm sorry, did you say that you used to be human?" And he says, "Yeah, heck, I thought it'd be a laugh and a half if he turned me into a map. And God, he was right. I love that guy. What a genius. He's so funny." And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, real funny. What a stand-up guy.
Yeah, he says, "Yes, you get it, yeah." You see that he wiggles out of Pinky's grasp and like launches himself at you.
Oh.
And he like, you kind of like
I
scramble.
swat him out of the air.
You see that he
Hey, get down! What the fuck?
You see, you swat
Bad
him.
touch.
You swat him, and he kind of sticks to your hand a little bit.
Oh, hey, get off! Hey, what the fuck?
And he's just laughing the whole time, and Pinky's going, "That's a good one, nephew."
I pry him off with my boot. I like scrape him off my hand with my boot.
Okay. You see, he goes, "Hey, this ground ain't too clean, you know." And you see Pinky.
He stomps him into the ground.
Oh my god.
He says, "You try that shit again, and I'm gonna do this repeatedly. You understand me? You don't touch me without permission."
He goes, "Hey, that ain't very funny of yous." And you see Pinky goes, "Oh, they're just messing around, Matthew." And she like picks him back up. And he goes, or Pinky goes, "Well," and she turns him back around to like point out different locations on the map. And she says, "Well, I can tell you some important locations if you need to know how to get somewhere, if you'd like." She indicates to this front section, everything in front of this, the big red tent, she refers to as the Jamboree. She says, "This is, if you just got here, you probably won't be going into the Dismadium anytime soon. Only the people Heckna really
Into the
like."
what?
So this is the Jamboree, and she called
The Dismalia?
Dismadium.
Medium. Okay.
And she says, "That's the back half of the carnival of the Revelia, but only the people Heckna really likes get to go in there. So you probably won't, get to go in there for a little while. But if you're good enough, or if you catch his attention enough, he'll let you in. Probably. It's really cool back there. Anyway, so the important locations in the Jamboree. Let's see here. What would you need to know? Okay, well, first of all, you're here." And she indicates to you this like very front like area. And she says, "You should probably go get your tickets. Every new member, or every new arrivals to the Revelia gets free 10 red tickets. Red tickets are the currency here. And there's lots of ways that you can get them. You get 10 free ones when you're new, so you'll get those if you haven't picked them up already. And then the other ways to get them are by playing games in the midway." And you see she sort of indicates to kind of all over the back half of the Jamboree. She says there are kind of games all over. This kind of general road is the midway. And then let's see the other important locations. Oh, this is the Lost and Found. And she indicates to a, it looks like a kind of carriage cart. Let's see. It's this, I believe. She indicates to this carriage cart and says that's the Jamboree, or I'm sorry, that's the Lost and Found. Right near the Lost and Found, this sort of big red, well, it looks like a schnozzling. Hector's so funny about that. That's the souvenir shop if you wanted to get anything from there. Like I said, everything costs red tickets, so you'll need those if you want to buy something. But it's really good. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, the food court. She indicates this area here as being the food court. She says, well, that's where there's a collection of shops. That's where you can get some food. There's a potion shop there. And it's also right by the naughty corner if you want to see whichever pet Heckna doesn't like that week. And you see she indicates to this hole in the ground with a glass cover on top. And she says, yep, that's the naughty corner right back there. Just be careful. Sometimes the glass breaks and they get out. And you see, let's see, yeah, she confirms with you that the hostel is like a safe place to sleep. She says, although I hear that they've been having a trouble with it being haunted or something. I don't really know what that's about, but oh no, oh well.
So it's not safe to sleep. Got it. It's safe to sleep. It is lousy with ghosts though, to be clear.
Let's see here. And she also indicates so she showed you the midway, and then she indicates this sort of larger tent back here as well. And she says, oh, and that's the petting zoo. If you wanted to go there. It's really fun. All of the animalgamations that come from Sophie's lab. Oh, it's great. They're so cute. Oh, they're so great.
Animalgamations?
Mm-hmm. She says, they're so cute to pet as long as you don't accidentally stick a finger in one of their extra mouths or something.
Okay.
And you see that she starts to speak, and initially some of the words that come out are in that strange, like, weird language. And then she stops herself and she goes, oh, wait, I'm so sorry. You're new here. You probably don't know any gobbledygook yet. But it might be important for you to learn. Almost everyone here speaks it, and some people will just kind of default to speaking that. So it might be important for you to pick up some of the words, you know?
That's what he was speaking earlier when he said Revelia.
And she goes, well, I mean, you're here forever now after all, so you'll probably pick it up in no time. And she goes, yeah, but anyway, so you should probably go pick up your red tickets at the ticket booth. And then after that, if you don't have a good place to sleep, you should probably get a room at the hostel, or you can play games in the midway, you can go to any of the shops, or you can go to the petting zoo. And that's kind of, what you can do in the Jamboree. It's really great here. And like I said, if you wanna one day end up in the Dismadium and have access to like the rest of the carnival, you're just gonna have to get on Hector's good side and do something really great and really funny to make him really like you, and then you'll get in, and then you can go do you could go see the shows in the big top. You can see Heckna's Eye, the big Ferris wheel. There's the Tunnel of Love. It's so great. The Fun House. Heckna's Fun House is amazing. Although he really, really has to like you to let you go in the Fun House, because that's kind of like his whole place,
That's the thing in the center.
No, the thing in the center is the big top. This place in the back with his face on it, she indicates, is the fun house. And she goes, if you like gambling, the Flophouse Casino, that's in the Dismadium as well. And there's a lot of really great stuff back there, but you probably won't be able to go there for a while, so I would just have fun exploring the Jamboree for now. Map, you can help you get around. And you see that she rolls him up, and she goes, and don't worry, if you don't want to talk to him, you can just roll him up, and then he can't hear or speak to you or see anything. So he's pretty convenient though, he's really funny. And she unrolls him again.
No, you can keep him.
She goes, oh, but I think he really likes you. Don't you like them, nephew? And he goes, I fucking hate you, you stupid bitch. If I have to be with her for one more second, I'm gonna kill myself again. And then Hector's gonna bring me back. Yeah, I'm gonna go with these guys. That's cool with you? And he doesn't wait for you to respond.
No.
He rolls himself into a ball, jumps into the air, and he slips himself into Neve's bag.
I dodge him.
Into Neve's
I grab him
bag.
out of the air.
Give me a dexterity check.
Come on, baby, don't fail me now. Dexterity save.
Yep.
Thank God I've got proficiency. That is a 17.
Okay. You catch him out of the air, and again he sticks to you. And you can.
I scrape him off with my boot.
You cannot get him off of your hand. He is.
Nope.
Stuck there.
I keep pulling.
Give me a Give me a
I
Constitution
will
saving
unsheath
throw.
my fucking sword and cut this fucker in half if he doesn't get off me.
Give me a Constitution saving throw. The
Also,
DC
I
is-
grabbed him with my bandaged hand, so he's not on my skin.
The DC is 50.
What did you say? Constitution save?
Mm-hmm.
16.
Okay. You just manage to get him off. It rips the bandages off of your hand, completely exposing that hand. He's like some kind of super glue.
I don't even wait to investigate further. I unsheath my sword and stab it through him into the ground.
Yeah. He rolls back up, it dodges it, and jumps back into Peaky's bag. And she goes, isn't he just so funny? All right, well, if you need another map, they sell paper ones at the souvenir shop.
Elstein says, yeah, he's a fucking riot. And you know, he's also a really good pincushion. You hear that, Matthew?
She goes, he can't hear you when he's rolled up. Anyways, but yeah, if you need anything, I'll be around. Please don't hesitate to ask. Yeah. Okay, well, it was really nice to meet you. I'll see you guys later. Bye. And you see that she unicycles away.
He rebandages his hand.
While she is unicycling away, she calls back over her shoulder, like, don't forget to get your tickets, and disappears into the crowd. And you see Kaz is just like, what the fuck was that? God, what the fuck? Are you okay?
He says, yeah, and we're not taking on any fucking hitchhikers.
Yeah, you see Ambrose is like, that was probably really bad. I don't love that he was really adamant about trying to like be with us. That was not very good. You see Neve is kind of like watching in the direction that she left in. And you see she says, did you see her nose move too?
Yeah, it sounds like she's been clowned.
Yeah, I think that maybe is what the doctor meant. And you see Ambrose is like, the clown nose? You think that means that clown corruption that she was speaking about? And you see...
I mean, what else would it mean?
Neve nods, and he says, well, I don't know. It could mean anything.
Come on, Ambrose, you're supposed to be the smart one here.
So, you now have free reign of the Jamboree. Let me pull up the other map. Well, you don't have a paper map yet, so I'll just leave this one up for now. But when you get a paper map, you'll have another one.
I want to go to the Lost and Found.
Okay.
It's like, that was like the first thing that she said to go to. Fuck the tickets. Like, that one normal person here was like, go to Lost and Found.
Okay. You make your way to the Lost and Found. You see that following the sort of brief glance you had at the map, trying to remember where it was, it takes you a little bit of time, but you manage to like dodge through a few buildings and tents, and you find the sort of carriage that says Lost and Found.
Yeah, you did cut out for me multiple times while she was explaining the locations, so I'm definitely gonna have to watch that back later and take my notes then. I got like two things jotted down, and then like you cut off for like a split second, and like I was like, I have no idea what she's talking about now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was probably laughing too loud. Basically just she pointed out the locations of the Lost and Found, the ticket booth, the hostel, the Midway, the souvenir shop, the food court, the petting zoo, the naughty corner. Oh, and she also, I forgot, pointed out the security building as well.
Where is that? Where
Uh,
did she indicate that?
the security building?
Mm-hmm.
It is this sort of standalone building to the south of the petting zoo. But yeah, okay, so you make your way to the Lost and Found. You see a small ramp leads up to a wagon that is painted with colorful floral patterns. As you enter, you step into an eclectic, sort of cluttered establishment. There is an assortment of random items covering the walls, no two alike. You see weapons, clothes, jewelry, costume items, a lot of miscellaneous stuff. All of it slightly like tattered and very clearly like used. You see underneath the items are little placards that like denote the price. You see that the walls are covered floor to ceiling in items, save for
So
one.
the lost and found items are being sold?
Yes. You see that the floor to ceiling items, there is just one spot where the objects frame a single Heckna poster that is tacked to the wall. Unlike the other posters, this one is not moving, and it is very obviously like crudely drawn. You see behind a wooden desk is a bird-like creature with navy plumage that is sort of graying at the tips of the feathers. And glommed onto his beak is a disembodied hand. You see another hand is wrapped around his throat. You see open wounds on the twitching disembodied hands are like slightly gangrenous. And like you see an open box on the counter in front of the bird person has one of the hand's missing fingers. You see that the bird folk is like, he's like trying to speak, but his beak is almost clamped shut. And you see that he like turns his eye to look at you. He says, "Are you just going to stand there, or are you going to help get these things off of me?" And roll initiative.
What? Oh, okay. What the fuck? All right.
Very fun, very awesome.
Do you want me to roll initiative for all of them or just Ailstain?
Whoever is going to help free this poor birdman.
I mean, I wasn't gonna jump in.
You see Neve rushes forward.
Oh, what? Okay. Neve, we don't know this person. Okay.
She
Like,
goes,
why the fuck are we?
being strangled, Elstein?
It's like, okay.
Her fight or flight.
Did you forget? Did you forget where we are? We don't know who we. Okay, we don't know who we can trust.
Her fight or
Like,
flight kicks in, and she rushes to help. If you
Okay.
if you don't want to help, you do not have to. But she is going in.
I mean,
If you want to
I
sit
just
back
don't
and not
know
do
why
anything,
we
then
would-
don't.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'll
don't.
just stand back and watch.
You see that Neve rolls horribly. All right. You see that she rushes in, does a few. You see that those claws extend from her hands. And she swipes at the one on the beak, and it falls to the ground in a pit of acid, the hand like twitching and bleeding. And you see he starts like pulling at the one on his neck, and is just like, "Help me!" And you see she's like, I am helping, fuck. And she swipes the other one. Natural 20. She gets it in one swipe. It like falls apart in like tatters of ashes. And you see that he, like, free of the hand, is like coughing and wheezing. And you see that he looks up at you. Let me...
Like, Neve, did you forget that no one here can die? Like, that's like the whole rule.
You see, she says, I wasn't going to let him. Well, she said that some people can't die, but like, that doesn't matter. He was hurting. I don't know. And you see that he is like trying to catch his breath, and you see he looks up at you and goes, "You were no help at all."
Says, sorry, I thought the whole point of this place was everything was a joke. Was that not a joke?
He says, "Did it look funny to ya? Did it?" God.
It looked a little funny.
You see that he looks at Neve and like nods to her, and he says, "Thank you for your help." And she's like, "Yeah, no problem. Do you run this place?" And you see he nods and he says, "Aye. The name's Locke. I'm proprietor of the Lost and Found. How can I help you?"
Wait, it doesn't really look like a lost and found. Looks like a lost and we sell it.
You see that he smiles a little bit, and he says, you see he kind of shrugs and he says, "I like trinkets, and you've got to make a living, you know. Everything's got a price."
Those little kids that go around stealing things, they work for you?
You see that he goes, "Well, I wouldn't be calling them little kids, but they occasionally bring me things because I give them sweets, they bring me trinkets. It's sort of a give and take, but they don't work for me, no. They only work for one man. As does most people here. Most people." You see he like side-eyes you.
Well, hey, you know, if those little guys want to try stealing my stuff, I'll show them something real funny.
And you see he shrugs and he says, "It would probably be for the best. Those little monsters should be put out of their misery. But who am I to say? Sometimes they run errands for me, so I guess they're not too bad. What do you want? Is there something you want
How
to
long
buy?"
they been here for?
Who?
The little creatures.
The children of the candy corn. Well, they've been here as long as Sophie's been here, huh? The chandler of flesh. Everything she creates comes out of her little lab, you know?
Ew.
Quite. Is there something I can be
Yuck.
helping you with?
I don't know. I was told we should check this place out.
By who?
I don't know. Everyone was just saying this place is really cool and I should stop by.
You see, he sort of gestures around and he says, "Well, this is the best and, if I do say so myself, most reliable shop in the Revelia. So, if you be needing to buy something, or sell something, or acquire information of any kind, then we best be becoming best friends, you and me, lad." He says, "I sell all manner of things."
Well, I don't know if we could be
Items.
best friends. After all, you got to be best friends with Hecna, right? That's what everyone says.
You see that he openly rolls his eyes, and looks at the poster on the wall that is, like, very clearly fake. And he goes, "Yeah, best friends with Hecna. Definitely. So, you buying something? Like I said, I sell all manner of things.
So,
if you want to
is
give
this
me
dude like fully different from everyone we've met?
if you want to give me an insight check, go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, 15.
He seems kind of like a gruff old bird, and seems like deeply weary, and very obviously, like, taking in like the fake poster and his kind of disposition, he seems like someone who has been here for a very long time, probably been through a lot of shit, but seems like he probably knows a lot, could probably be a very helpful source of information and items potentially. And he seems to not so subtly not like Hecna. He like, this is the only fake poster you have seen. All the other ones seem to be real. So it seems like he's trying to keep up appearances, but it's very much like, you don't think this guy likes Hecna at all. You think that, like most people here, whether they realize it or not, he is a prisoner here.
So one of the only 2 people we've met that were normal. Damn, maybe I should have helped him. I don't know. I just thought he was another one of the freaks here, and I was like, who fucking cares if, if one of Hecna's people are being strangled? Like, why would that matter to me?
I mean, the one person who was nice did tell you to come here, but it's okay.
We don't know why. She didn't say why.
Exactly. Yeah, don't do something you don't think that your character would do. But Neve helped him. And you see that, again, he nods to her and he says, like, look, if you've been needing something, I have a lot on offer. I sell lots of things. Trinkets, mostly. Information, most definitely. But I don't be selling those for tickets like everything else. No. You see he sort of, like, tilts his head very bird-like and he says, trinkets. Anything be coming from outside of the Revelia. I'll trade information for trinkets. And anything else you see here you'd like to buy, tickets. Okay? And you see he kind of tilts his head and sniffs at you. He says, you smell like chemicals. You met Stella, didn't you?
Yeah, she mostly just talked at us.
You see that he kind of nods, and he says, aye, that be sounded like her. A good lass. Good, heart in the right place, you know. I guess if she'd be sending you here, you can't be all bad. And you see he sort of, like, looks you over. So, yes, he seems very eager to obtain items from beyond the carnival. But
I do have a handful of things in my inventory that aren't from the carnival.
So giving him trinkets will allow you to purchase information about the Revelia. He also sells the items that come to him from the Lost and Found, so there is also a shop for you to look at. And he's also a fence, so if you need to sell anything, he'll pay tickets for them as well.
Okay.
Let's see what else. You see that he kind of is like, brushes himself down and kind of rubs at his plumage, and he says, but be careful, you can't trust nobody or nothing in this place, not even dead meat. And I'm considering getting really sick and tired of these jokes that everybody's been telling in this place. You see, like, he's basically a grumpy old man who is really tired of being at a carnival.
I think Ailstain leans on the... There's like a counter between them, right? Or no?
You've stepped into his shop, and there's sort of a desk, like, that he's sitting in front of. Basically, exactly what you're seeing what's in front of you is what you're seeing. Behind you, there's just more items on the walls. And you see beyond him, there is another like little room that is curtained off and you cannot see behind. So yes, that's what you see.
I think he leans one hand against the table and he says, "Yeah, I picked up on a lot of that real quick. Look, sorry we didn't, I didn't immediately help out. You might understand my reticence given, and he looks over at the fake poster and then back at him and he says, "We're taking everything in very slowly."
You see he nods and he says, I don't be blaming you. This is, quite a world you've stumbled into. It's good to be
I don't know that I
cautious."
would say stumbled.
He says,
Listen.
It's good to be cautious. You might keep your life that way.
Listen, you said you deal in information, right?
He nods.
Says, how much do you know about people here?
He says, if there is anything to be known about this place, I be knowing it. But information don't be coming free. And I don't be giving it out to just anyone. You got to earn my trust, boy.
Makes sense. Maybe you could just tell me if you do know nothing. Huh?
What do you
he-
wanting to know?
I think he looks at Neve while he says this next part to like kind of gauge her reaction on whether or not she like wants him to mention her followers, like the followers of Nyx as well. And he says, some folks went missing. We're here looking for them. And he like kind of like looks at her for like her reaction to like see if she doesn't want him to say anything or what.
She kind of nods to you.
He says,
some religious types. Maybe some kids. I noticed there ain't a lot of kids around here. Can't be too easy to miss those types, huh?
You see that he nods very slowly, and he says, I might be knowing a thing or two about that, but, like I said, information don't come free, and I don't be giving it out to people I just met. How's
All
it?
right.
He says, I am nothing if not generous in my dealings. So how about this? You do a job for me. You do it to completion. You do it well. And I'll see what I can find out for you.
Says, all right. What's the job?
You see that he smiles. Let's see.
he's gonna be like, "Kill Hecna."
You see that he says, I have a parcel. I've been needing to deliver it to Stella. Perchance. If you can deliver it discreetly and without opening it, you can find her over by the petting zoo at this time of day. Look, I'll even pay you for it. 25 red tickets. You do it well, and under these standards, and I'll tell you what I know.
Says, he like squints a little. He says, that sounds very easy. What ain't you telling me?
You see that he just kind of shrugs, and he says, is it easy? It's quite an assumption. You see that he...
Okay, so like, are you not telling me that like it's like super hard to get over there? We're new here, pal.
You see, he shakes his head. He says, "No, petting zoo's just down the way there. Might take you maybe 25, 30 minutes to walk there, but should be fine as long as you don't."
Yeah, there's gonna be like
Run
a
into-
fucking man-eating fucking fucking clown nose or something over there. I'm telling you.
He says, "Oh, the Revelia's quite a dangerous place, as you can see." And he motions to the like desiccated hands on the ground. And he says, "But I not be putting you in any danger. With this, at least. What you encounter out there is none of my business."
All right. Well, we still gotta go pick up our tickets.
He says, "Oh, you're new, aren't you? Fresh in?"
Says, yeah, we ain't staying for long. Just passing through.
You see, he kind of rolls his eyes and he says, "Listen, lad, I ain't ever known no one who successfully escaped. Better to spend your time surviving. And
Says,
I can help you with that."
well, you just met him.
You see, he goes, "You're quite cocky, aren't you? Give me an insight check." Well, actually, you've already done one. What did you get? Was it a 19? I can't remember.
I fucking can't remember.
Roll it again. roll me another.
Was that the roll I just did? I think that was a 15
Okay.
or something.
Um,
Am I remembering wrong? I think it was a 15.
It was higher than a 10, so it's fine.
Okay.
As he says, like, I don't know anyone who's ever escaped successfully, and like it's better to spend your time surviving, you are pretty sure that he knows more than he's saying, but he seems hesitant to say anything more. You think that maybe once you've like earned his trust a little bit, he'll be a little more readily like open about certain information.
Fair enough.
Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. He says, "Listen, it's better to be spending your time surviving, but if you want to go on some big heroic quest and try and escape this place, you'll be needing to get into the Dismedium. You know about that place?"
Yeah, a very helpful map. Told me all about it.
You see, he's like, "Oh, the map. Oh, it's not with you, is it? You don't have him on
no.
you. Oh, good."
Oh no,
He goes,
are you kidding me? I stomped that fucker into the ground like 3 times.
You see, he kind of squints at you, and it's like, "Good on you. That one's a rat bastard." And you see, he says, "Yeah, that map. He works for Hecna. If you be carrying that thing around, he reporting everything you say to him. So, best be avoiding that one."
Yeah, I figured. I get the feeling that basically everyone here is a fucking freak.
But you see that he says, if you are wanting to get into the Dismedium, the midway, where all the games are, is the best place to go pretend you're having a good time. It's also a good place to buy enough, or to earn enough tickets to buy my wares. So maybe on your way back, if you wanted to, earn some tickets, maybe buy a few things when you return, I won't be saying no. There's plenty to do there.
Can I can I minor illusion to just make it look like I'm smiling?
Yeah. Go for it.
He waves his bandaged hand over his face, and like it just kind of looks like there's like a illusion of a smile on his face. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm real good at having a good time."
What's the DC to see through that?
It would be, well, you only see through it if you investigate closely. You have to like actually be
Right.
looking for it.
He is standing right in front of you when you cast a spell.
He would have to like investigate it though.
Right.
Yeah.
You cast a spell right in front of him.
Well, yeah, it's a somatic component. I didn't say anything. I just waved my hand over my face and then I was
Right.
smiling.
A physical gesture of a spell, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the DC?
There isn't one. Like once
you
you
just have to
investigate,
look for it?
Oh wait, actually, it's an intelligence investigation check.
Okay. And what's the DC?
If he wants to examine it, the DC is 12.
Okay, yeah. He sees right through that, but doesn't say anything. He just goes,
But like the point I'm making is that like people will only see through it if they're actively
Right.
investigating it.
you see he just sort of nods at you and goes, aye. Well, there's plenty to do around here. If you be needing anything, like I said, I'm a good source of information. But deliver that parcel for me, and we'll be seeing what I can do for you in return.
Says, all right, shouldn't be too hard.
You see that he nods. Do you depart this place? Do you want to look at his wares while you're here, or what would you like to do?
I mean, I don't know that we're looking to buy anything just yet. Does it just look like magic items, or does it look like, what is it?
It's lots.
What is the general
it's weapons, clothes. There's a. You do see a few like magic items. It's kind of like a general goods shop, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're not in the market right now, currently.
Okay.
He said he deals in trinkets, right?
So the items for sale cost red tickets, but it's trinkets to buy his information.
Okay.
So he gives you a small parcel, and he says, "Give this to Stella. Don't open it. Return to me, and I'll be seeing what I can do for you."
All right. Wouldn't be my first job. Your shit's safe with me.
Very well. I I wish you well out there. Don't die.
He tucks it in his bag.
And
he says, "You too, actually. Like, don't get strangled again."
You see he kind of rubs his throat and he says, "Aye." And the four of you depart.
Can we like kind of try to like do what fucking Stella was doing and like just try to like avoid crowds and avoid being out in the open as we travel?
Yeah, if you want to roll me a group stealth check, you can go ahead and do that as you travel.
Just sounds like things are gonna be menacing us out here.
Yeah.
Oh, well. A group stealth, are they helping?
Sorry, all of them are rolling. So roll
Oh.
one for Ambrose and Cause as well. I will roll for Neve. Neve got an 8.
You wanted me to roll for Ambrose and Gaz?
Yeah.
So Ambrose got a nat 1.
Awesome.
Cause I guess that's a 10 total.
And what?
So he did a little better than Ailstain.
And what?
Ailstain got a 9.
Okay, yeah. So you make your way. Where are you headed? Are you going to get your tickets, or are you going to deliver
Yeah.
this parcel? Okay.
I mean, to be fair, we're not like hiding from anything in specific, chat. We're just kind of like trying to avoid crowds and stuff, and like kind of stick to the shadows.
very difficult to avoid crowds in this place. You see that, you think that the midway, you haven't been there yet, but you can kind of see it in the distance. That seems to be where the most crowds are gathered right now, but there are a lot of people here just walking around the entirety of the place. So you initially find it quite difficult to like avoid being seen, essentially.
To be fair, a nat 1 stealth check for Ambrose very much checks out.
Yeah.
That man sticks out like a sore thumb. Even in a colorful place like this.
True. So you make your way to the ticketing booth.
Oh, I hate her.
You see a crowd surrounds a red velvet booth, denoted by a carved wooden sign that reads, "Get your tickets here." In front of the booth is a fountain that is spewing water droplets that are shaped like tickets. You see the people in the crowd are dressed in like wild and really colorful clothes. They're all talking with one another loudly. Everyone's like laughing. Some people are shouting. Eventually the line like moves forward. You see operating the booth is a doll-like person wearing a frilly pink dress. Her blonde hair in those tight sort of ringlets. You see strings of red tickets are attached to her limbs and her clothes. The marionette sort of pulls out strings of tickets from a little bag, folds them up and hands them to the people in line in front of you. And then they take them and head off into the carnival. And you see that she turns to look at you and like sort of motions for you to come forward. And she says, "Raleigh Rune vor Revelia, where Beat Smorgy isn't a Bunderbin? You must have come here for your free tickets. Otherwise, how are you gonna pay for all your lovely thingamabobs?" And her mouth like hangs open as she finishes speaking and like waits for you to respond.
He says, "Gorbity blobbity shorbity gorbity. We're new here. We need some tickets."
You see that she smiles and she says, "Of course, red tickets for all of you." You see that she pulls a strip of tickets from her dress. She sort of folds them up into a booklet and hands one to each of you. So the 4 of you get a little booklet that have 10 red tickets in them.
Is anything suspicious about this? Any faces on this fucker? Any like sign that it's Heckna spy?
The ticket does have Heckna's face on it, but it doesn't seem to be like animated in any way.
But I thought everything with Heckna's face was something he could see out of.
She hands them to you. Yep, she's sort of like, it's funny, like the bag that she's pulling them from is small. I know you have to run an ad. Give me just a second. The bag that she's pulling them from is like small, but it seems like no matter how many people are in line, she just keeps pulling more out.
Bag of holding. I think Ailstain like leans in close and whispers to Ambrose. He's like, "Nothing can like see out of a bag of holding, right? Like they can't hear out of a bag of holding. It's like it's its own extra dimensional like space, right?"
Yes, correct.
He shoves all 40 tickets in the bag of holding and cinches it up and is like, "All right, they don't come out unless we're fucking paying for something."
They all nod. You see, Polly, Polly says, well, first of all, she says, "My name is Polly. Like, it's so nice to meet you." She hands you the tickets. And she says,
These are red tickets, the currency of the Revelia. Tickets are required to buy food, pay for accommodation, and play games in the Midway. The Midway is a good place to earn more tickets. All tickets are provided by Lord Heckna himself. She says, I cannot and will not dispense any more tickets than are required. And sort of like seems to be waiting for you to like say something else.
How many are required?
10 red tickets are to be dispensed to each newcomer of the Revelia.
I see. Okay.
Are you like? Did she seem like alive, or does it seem like someone's speaking for her? Like she's being puppeted right now.
Give me an insight check. Well, actually, do you ask? Or are you just
No.
trying to check? Okay, yeah. If you're just trying to check, then.
I don't want no one to know that I'm on to them. Oh, got a 12.
She seems like she has limited sentience. Like, you think that you don't think that anyone's like puppeting her per se, even though she looks like a marionette. It seems like she has a bunch of stuff that she can say and like her own like personality. But if you think that if you ask her too many like specific questions, then she might just start to like repeat things. She says, "Is there anything else I can help you with?"
What do you think about SpongeBob SquarePants?
I don't know what that is. I was created by the toy maker. The toy maker likes to sell all their new toys at the toy maker's table near the souvenir shop.
I'm trying to think of like bullshit questions to ask her.
You see, if you take too long to respond, she just continues to tell you information. She says like,
Marionettes like myself are common here at the Revelia, and we are typically built for specific tasks, like the staff at the hostel or here at the ticket booth. I miss my friend, Peep Boo. I believe he now operates the ride in a different part of the carnival.
All right. Hey, so hey, what do you think about the Raiders versus the Chargers? Who do you think's gonna win?
you see that she says like, she just blinks at you, and then she goes,
Hey, sillies, you've already got your tickets. You'll have to ask Heckna if you would like any more. Please step out of line.
Says, all right. And he steps out.
you
I was just curious, like how much like limited sentience she has. Like if it's like she has canned responses, or like if she's like actually alive. It seems like canned responses.
it's kind of hard to tell. You think it?
And well, what was the name of the friend she said she misses?
She said she missed her friend Peep Boo.
Peep Boo. And what was fucking her name? I didn't write that.
Her
down,
name is
actually.
Polly.
Polly. Okay. Okay.
All right, you depart the ticket booth. Where would you like to head now?
I guess we're gonna go deliver that package
So
that
there's
we're not opening.
There's two paths you can take up to the petting zoo. Let me pull that back up. You can take the road up through the Midway, or you can pass by the security station to get there.
Isn't that the place that's like right next to the naughty corner or whatever?
The food court is right next to the naughty corner, and the security building's just to the north of it. Yeah. So from here, you can go directly east, pass through the food court and the naughty corner, past the security building to get up to the petting zoo.
I just feel like we know that the path we previously were on was safe.
Well, the ticket booth is not far from the lost and found. The ticket booth is this red tent right here, and the lost and found is this little wagon right here.
Okay. And then where we're trying to go?
The petting zoo is this tent up here. This is this is the security building. This is the naughty corner, the food court, and then all of
I want to stay away from the naughty corner because it sounds like them fuckers get out of there regularly. So let's go the other path.
Okay. Well, you can head north and avoid the naughty corner and just kind of. So you'd head through the midway then, to get through there. So let me kind of zoom you in on the sort of midway in the petting zoo area. As you head up through the midway, you see that just before you get to the midway, you see that there is a crowd of people. The midway is the most packed part of this place, so there's a ton of people just everywhere. As you get closer to the midway, you see a bunch of people pointing at you. And you see it quickly becomes clear that people are pointing to a gathering of people behind you. And you see a growing chorus of people going like, ooh, and like, ah, oh my gosh. You turn around. You see the crowd around you, like people start rushing forward and you get like caught up in this crowd. The crowd grows really dense until it parts behind you to make way for a very tall, slender male figure. He is dressed more elegantly than the other Revelia clowns, wearing a horned jester's hat as if it were a crown. He is decked out in rich reds and a suit made of stars that like swirl and spin in like myriad galaxies. You recognize the mask, carved into a smile from all the posters you have seen. Hecna. The crowd swoons and like surround him, and you see people are like bowing and like laughing and cheering and clapping and like trying to get his attention, and they all have this like just desperate, overeager like air. You see that his eyes, barely visible under his mask, like linger over the crowd, like very like high and mighty, like as if just looking upon them is a blessing. And you see him sort of like reveling in this, like everyone like wanting to like speak to him, and you see that he sees you. And you see that out of nowhere, he pulls a comically large mallet that bears his face on it, like his mask. And you see he points it at you. And the crowd kind of hushes a little bit and separates. And it leaves a clear path between the two of you. And you see that he smiles as he points this mallet at you. And he says, here they are, our newest guests. How good of you to come to my little old carnival. I do hope you're having fun. We're all having fun here, aren't we? And you see that the crowd just uproariously cheers and laughs, and like just agreeing with everything that he says. And you see that he sort of like saunters towards you a little bit, and he stops probably like 20-ish feet away, and he kind of like rests the mallet back over his shoulders, and he kind of like leans forward a little bit, like he's going to whisper something to you.
I take a step back.
Well, he's far away from you, but he's like leaning forward as though you were right there. And he says, "Welcome to my brick house, little piggies. I am the wolf. So glad you could make it. I see you got my invitation, and you brought friends along with you. How marvelous. A man after my own heart, if I still had one. Now it's just a gaping hole with teeth." And you see the whole crowd just busts up laughing. Like, people are laughing so hard that they are crying and like gasping for breath. And you see that he just smiles at you. And you see that he goes to bow. And as part of this like elaborate bow, he throws a pie at you. Make a dexterity saving throw.
This better fucking work. 16.
Unfortunately, you try to dodge out of the way, but it's
What was the DC on that?
it was big. You see that you try to dodge out of the way, but it like locked onto your position somehow. Like, you moved and it moved with you. And it just covers you in like custard. You see that everybody laughs. And he just goes, "Oh dear, terribly sorry. Here." And you see that he pulls a handkerchief out of his pocket, and of course it just keeps coming and coming and coming. And he says, "If you're impressed with the size of my hankies, wait till you see the size of my feetsies. Wink." And he continues to pull the handkerchief out until it's like the size of a really big tablecloth. And you see he steps forward and is like, "Here, let me clean you up with that." And before you can even try and move out of the way, he like wipes you with it, and it it just covers you in this like gray muck.
There's no save?
No.
What?
And he says, "Oh dear, I must have let..."
Gun and shoot him in the
He
face.
says, "I must have let Snout blow his nose in this one. Terribly sorry." And you see that he presses a smiley face badge on his suit, and it just blasts all of you with water. All of you are just completely soaking wet now. You're not dirty anymore, but now you're absolutely drenched.
I'm gonna cut this man's penis off and feed it to him.
And you see he says, "Now, no need for the waterworks. The Revelia is the funniest place you could ever hope to be, and I'm so happy you're here with all of us. You'll be a proper part of the carnival before you know it. Wink."
I think the entire time Ailstein has just been standing there, like hands at his side, and just stares at him, like not smiling, just stonewall face, just staring at him, not reacting to any of it.
You see he says, "Oh, did I hurt your feelings? I'm terribly sorry. I want nothing more than to make all of you laugh. Everything's funny here, is it not?" And everyone starts laughing.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the joke.
He says,
I'm excited.
"Oh, you really hurt my feelings, Ailstein, when I went to all this trouble to invite you to my carnival. sad.
Says, well, then tell a joke then. I'm waiting.
You see that he just laughs. And he says, well, I can see you're not having very much fun. So,
I'm fine. I don't know why you're making a big deal about this. I'm being a little weird about this right now.
he says, listen, I insist that all of you go have some fun in the Midway. It's on the Fun House. Go on, you look like you could be having much more fun. Here, anything, any game you'd like to play, it's on me. Okay? Have some fun. And he like gestures to the Midway.
It says, nah, I'm good actually.
You see that he says, go on, play some games, have a good time. It'll be fun. You'll love it. I promise. I created them after all. Of course they'll be fun.
Oh, you created them?
Yes, well, I created them, and you know, people that I
So they're
created
definitely
created
not fun
them.
then.
You're just a little scamp, aren't you? Well, why don't you really go play some games? I'm sure you'll love it. Oh, I'm sure you'll have so much fun.
Says,
He is getting, like, the more that you are like, no, the more he's like, yeah, go play them. Go play the games. And you see the
Is this-
moon shift from full to waning. He says, go play the games. Go play them. You'll have so much fun. I created them. I invited you here. I'm offering you to play my games. Go play them.
says, is that how, that the only way you can make people say you're funny? Or that you're fun? Yeah, force them.
Oh, Elstane, you truly are no fun. But don't worry. I know how to fix that. You see
Not
that
very good at your job.
he turns to the crowd. And he says, I think our friends could use a real lesson in fun. Don't you agree? And you see two...
He like looks back at at everyone else and he says, if you all want to fucking run away, now's the time. He's probably gonna fucking send his fucking dickheads to come attack me.
You see that people are booing you, and like cheering for Hecna. And you see that two burly, kind of guys step out of the crowd. And you see that Hecna turns on his heel and he says, I shall leave you now, but the next time I see you, you had better be having a good time, or I'll be forced to take care of you myself. Okay, ta-ta! And you see that he, in a swirl of confetti, just explodes. And you see two men step forward, with like mallets in their hands. And they say, you don't know how to have a good time?
He
I'll show
draws
you.
his sword and he says,
Oh, I know how to have a good time, pal.
And next time, we will roll for initiative. But that is all
okay.
for tonight.